Yeah, Charlie, I'm going to finish this right now. Yeah. Oh, shit, we're live. Just kidding. What's up, everybody? So, welcome to the show. I've got DDGotaPodcast. What's up, man? I'm excited to have you on. I watched a couple of your I saw. You know what? Actually, I watched your stream, obviously, that we've discussed offline about your theory that Charlie is alive, which I certainly have entertained on a very deep level. But, before that, I forgot to tell you this. You made that post on your community page where you were like, if someone's going to convince me that this is not what's happening, they need to explain this. And it was like 100 bullet points.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I was like, I sent that to people. And I was like, hey, why don't you guys take a crack at this if you think I'm crazy, dude? Why don't you take a run at that? Do you have that post?
Yes, I do have that post. I'll pull that up. Yeah.
I literally just thought of it right this second. But anyway, I apologize. So to my audience, this is DDGotaPodcast. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Demetrius. I go by DD. I appreciate you all for having me. I am the host, the official host for the DDGotaPodcast show. Been doing YouTube for about 6 years. Realized in the last 4 or 5 years that I wasn't progressive. I think I've always really known that, but I had to learn that when I worked in corporate America. And I'm definitely more conservative leaning, if you will. However, I've also learned that both sides that we've been given, the political binary, if you will, is full of corruption on both sides. And so I'm sharing that part to say that is sort of how I fell into this whole Charlie Kirk psyop, because I was following Charlie in a lot of his debates and things, and I agree with Charlie on a plethora of different topics. And so, yeah, when everything happened, as we're going to get into today's video, I thought what many of you all currently believe, until I continue to take the next step. And I hope that we're able to convince you by the end of this video that it's okay to take the next step, because there are people that are calling you all conspiracy theorists for simply not believing the Fed slop. And many of you all, not all of you, think that me and Jesse are conspiracy theorists for taking that next logical step. And the biggest pushback that I typically hear is that Charlie wouldn't do this to his children, and this does not line up with Charlie's character. I totally understand why you have that position. This is not a knock to anybody that believes that Charlie is deceased. For the record, since we've been talking about the word overwhelming, I am about 80% convinced that what we're going to talk about in today's video leads us to believe that Charlie is alive. And so I hope that you all are open-minded. And by open-minded, I don't just mean you're open to be convinced of anything. No, we're just going to present the evidence to you, and you do with it as you may.
That is exactly how I've approached this thing. And it's funny because I say every time that I talk about this that I think what made me unique in how I viewed this was I never thought of TPUSA as a likely evil culprit in this thing, even though they were behaving so bizarrely. I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't put it together, but that just never made any sense to me. And it took me months. I mean, and one of the first things that we're going to talk about is going to be how our own viewpoint of this case developed over the time from when it happened to when we went to there. Because yours was different than mine, because if people go back and look at my coverage of this case, the first 3 months, I was literally exposing all kinds of stuff having to do with these left-wing radical groups, like just thing after thing after thing. And then about Lance Twiggs and all stuff that's now coming out about Lance Twiggs. I keep on pulling up videos that I did in October. I'm like, I told you, yeah, here you go. Here's why I showed this. Here's why I showed this. Here's why I showed this. And it actually wasn't until I saw things that were, being interpreted differently by other people, but the actual videos where I looked and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That is on video. That's on video.
Undeniable, irrefutable.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's where we're going to start. But we wanted to just as an example, and we want to keep this an open dialogue with the audience in the chat, because as an example, before we even went live, okay, Stacy put this up, and I believe this is one of your viewers, and I read this while I was backstage, and I was like, I had missed that one. That's something I had missed. There's so many things like this where essentially you're just looking at human behavior and what does it indicate? And she said, did you all notice that in all of the clips after the shooting and they're walking around the tent with the cameras, no one looked like they're stepping over blood. They didn't even look down. I had never thought about that and had never noticed. And as soon as she said that and I read it, I'm like, that is like really important. And again, I'm going to pass it over to you in a second. And I just wanted to say that, like, one of the core beliefs that I have, which I think is important for people to consider, is that people think that physical evidence has this gigantic weight over human behavior evidence. And I disagree with that in a bunch of different, examples. It's not always true, because physical evidence can be put there. You can have someone touch a thing and you put it where you want it to be. Where if you have human behavior that is clearly a mismatch for the situation, then that is going to indicate one thing or the other if you are a person who understands people. And if you have a bunch of people behaving in one way or the other, then it gives you a lot to go on.
Totally agree. And if you notice in the Candace Owens, Andrew Wilson debate, if you want to call it a debate, I believe it was a humiliation ritual for Andrew Wilson. You notice that Candace didn't sort of harp on those things at all. And Candace knows that she can't come into that conversation and spend here's this word again, overwhelming amount of time talking about people's behaviors, because Andrew Wilson and people like him are going to simply say, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
What is it like? It's not our job to tell you why they were behaving suspicious, but that is something that you include in the evidence. Just because I can't tell you why they did it unequivocally with 100% proof. No. We are allowed to think. And what we're saying is, there is so many people the day of and since that day whose behavior does not align with seeing someone get unalived, who they have spent years around, loved, who I believe many of them truly love Charlie, truly got along with Charlie, including young people, not just the older people. Yes, I believe if it was just one person, I would understand that. But that's not the case. Before Jesse sort of takes off with this and get us into today's discussion, I would like to take this opportunity once again to say thank you to Jesse for allowing me into his platform, but also to say thank you to so many of you all that are already subscribed. I don't like to call people fans, but the supporters, because thanks to you and only you, Warren Smith, if you all do not know who Warren Smith is, huge platform, dropped the video. I believe his YouTube channel name is Warren Smith Secret Scholar Society. And a lot of you all know him. I believe he's a previous Harvard professor or some sort of professor that got fired for doing something that he wasn't in the wrong about, from my understanding. But anyways, he dropped a video defending Andrew Wilson, had a very disingenuous take, didn't talk about any of the things that Andrew Wilson did wrong, said that he debunked Candace Owens, and it was a very infuriating video to watch. But thanks to you all, here it is right here. This is his channel. He responded. Hundreds of you, I believe at this point, thousands of you, probably a couple of thousand of you all commented under his video that I was challenging him to a debate, and he responded on Twitter. Very, very polite and kind guy. And now the debate is scheduled for later today. He is defending the position that there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson took out Charlie Kirk, and I am taking the position that there is not overwhelming evidence, and I believe I'm going to do a great job of that. So that is scheduled for 7 p.m. Central timing. Thank you all for that. My understanding is that he runs in the circle of Andrew Wilson, and I don't know if Andrew Wilson trained him, but I know that they're affiliated. So thank you all for that. And yeah, I got that post pulled up if you want to go through it. We don't have to go through it if you don't want, but the post is pulled up if you want to.
Yeah, we'll go through it in a second. But perfect. Yeah, and I was just going to say, I would take a look. Like I said, that clip that I sent you earlier, if you finish that thing, it's presented in a way where someone like him is going to have to face the fact that if you look at every single piece of evidence, without exception, absolutely 100% of the pieces of evidence that they are basing their story on is flawed. There are no exceptions to that rule. Not one. Every single one. And I went through every single one of them. And, I mean, listen, dude, I haven't watched any of his stuff, but I know for sure this would apply to Andrew Wilson. Is one of the, one of the tactics that they use is no matter what you present, they're going to respond looking like they're like, oh, well, so That's like, they're always going to do that no matter what. Like, no matter
so
how
what he
compelling it
said,
is,
so what, so many times.
Exactly. Well, what is that?
When you present something that he can't explain, that is absolutely a red flag and an inconsistency and a bunch of irregularities, he'll go, okay, so what? I'll concede that. But what does that mean? No. What does it mean? The fact that it exists means something.
So you should throw that back at him every time. So something that is clearly, so the badge cam went out right as they're walking up to the spot, and the video of the shooter, which we all just saw 2 weeks ago, he doesn't assemble a rifle. Like, you can't even see a rifle, and he clearly does not assemble the rifle. So what? Well, why don't you explain to me why that doesn't rattle your faith in the official story when there's a video which disputes the official story? You explain to me how that does not bother you.
Not only that, but from my understanding, I don't know if it was digital dissident, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
One of them just recently posted a video of them going onto the rooftop of the Losey Center.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it shows that where this person, whoever this figure is, that did a lateral crawl on this rooftop, where they supposedly stopped and set up to pow Charlie Kirk. It's impossible. It's virtually impossible from the way that they would have to have mounted the rifle. You have to go and watch that video if you haven't seen it as of yet.
Yeah, I saw it.
But if you present this to these people, they'll say, so what? Maybe it's possible. When you have all these gun and these ballistic experts saying this makes no sense. So what?
That particular video, just fair warning, what I would say if I was on his side, and I agree with you that video is super compelling, but I like, because the other side, this is what I would be careful of, is because the other side has not validated that video, like the one we were just talking about, where he runs up and he assembles a rifle. Their other side has not validated that video. So if you go too hard in the paint on that one, he'll go, are you super familiar with the Losey building? Do you know the difference between the roof of the Losey building or any of the other buildings? Yeah. No. How do you
I'll be giving them an out
if beforehand, afterwards? Yeah. It's like, I would keep that in your back pocket, but stick to the ones that they've validated are real, like that video where you go, where do you assemble the rifle? Do you know what I mean? Because then he could actually throw things over that would be hard to answer. But you'll smoke him, dude. You'll smoke him. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, the best, literally the itemized post though that I think we should look at and kind of we can go off of yours is probably the best itemization of this case I've ever seen for our side. Like I went through it and I was like, this is brilliant, dude. Like it is brilliant. And so if you share that on your screen, then we'll come to that right after. But I wanted to start with this clip from Candace last night because this starts with the the behavior from the day of is got to be heavy for anyone trying to evaluate what happened in this case, of course, because if you can look with your own eyes and recognize behavior that does not make sense, then you have to explain it somehow. You know what I mean? And I think the Farnsworth with the SD cards is a very, very big part of that. And she shared a new video of that last night. So we can kind of start there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now appears to be the moment to not tell you what Terrell did, but to rather show you and let you draw your own conclusions about whether Terrell appeared concerned about anything other than that particular footage. Okay. Here is what Terrell did thereafter, seen for the first time. Terrell is there. He looks around again, nervously, and he puts the SD card in his pocket and he zips up. He doesn't run to the other cameras and try to grab the SD card. Instead, what he does is he whips out his phone and he begins texting with someone.
Got it. That's what he texted. I have it. He's like, probably confirming that he has the SD cards would be my guess right there.
And that's what he does. He's texting with someone to say what? Who's he texting? What's he saying? If he's just out there fighting evil and worried about securing the footage, why didn't he grab the other SD card or 3 of them in a row? Who is he in communication with after he grabs that? Because I got to tell you something, Andrew. Were it me, and I was amongst my peers sitting on a jury, I would not accept your narrative that he looks like he's worried about people stealing. Not about the hats, not about the other footage, not about the cameras. It looks to me like, and again, this is my opinion, it looks to me like he's completing a task and checking in with someone to say that a task is completed. Maybe, I don't know. I'm open to everything. Maybe there was some police officer who told him to take that footage in particular.
Does that make any sense that it would be law enforcement?
No.
No.
I'm told that didn't happen. And I will say this, that when someone demonstrates that they are capable of lying to you, you have a right to take note. And Terrell lied to me. He lied to me about his fears regarding Google. It is therefore my opinion on the basis of everything that we are observing with our eyes, everything that I am observing with my 2 eyes, his mannerisms, the beeline to that footage so quickly within 4 or 5 minutes, as if that had to be secured. The 1102 statement, where we know that that footage in particular was clipped. I'm speculating because it was zoomed in. The questions that Kathy Nestor asked thereafter, things that she asserted about, they don't know whether or not that footage was edited. Your claim that the FBI has it, why? It's a Utah case. Why would the FBI have the SD cards? When I observe everything with my eyes, again, I don't think they're going to call me for jury duty in Utah, but it demonstrates to me that that footage was prioritized. So now the question is why?
Perfect. Stop.
Oh, that's the end of the clip. Look at that.
But here's another great thing to point out. Why is this, if people, for those who are not convinced that this is a cover-up, which I'm assuming that they're watching this video, at the very least they believe it's a cover-up, but just in case we have some exceptions in the room, why is this case even federal?
No, why isn't it federal?
Well, my understanding is that the local, or I should say, why is the FBI covering it? Typically, from my understanding, what I understand is typically the FBI, because I believe the Utah FBI is covering this, correct?
So the state is prosecuting it with the assistance of the FBI is what they're saying.
Why is the FBI assisting? Because typically, from my understanding, the FBI will get involved if there is some sort of crossing of state lines.
So, okay, so the legal basis is the FBI technically could take the case if they deem it a political assassination, but they chose not to do that.
I see.
The explanation I would give if I was in charge of this cover-up is I would say we can't prosecute the death penalty federally, so we're going to let Utah do it and put him to death. That said, my contention from the very beginning is there's something wrong if Trump himself did not task Cash and the FBI and the DOJ with prosecuting this case where someone murdered his friend, his family friend, and all of that. But yeah, that's their story. But I agree with you. Like, the FBI is involved. Why does the FBI have the rifle and have all of this stuff that the defense can't get access to if they're not the ones running this case?
Agreed. Do you mind if I play a clip here?
No, of course.
Share my screen. Let me see. Share screen. So weird being on this side of things.
No, while you figure that out, I was just going to say one thing about Terrell Farnsworth too. So, like,
yeah,
in between, she said 4 minutes after he's shot, he went and goes and grabs the SD cards. And it's very important what he did with those 4 minutes, which is turn, just like Mikey McCoy, beeline over down that hallway, stand on the wall, and get the absolute perfect shot of Charlie being carried to the SUV with a conspicuous lack of blood trail underneath. And then turns the camera on himself and says, they shot Charlie, God help him, he's dead, which is so unfathomable to me. It's like, no one would say he's dead. Like, you would say, please let him pull through this.
Right, but let's make sure that people understand what you just stated, though, Jesse. They're expecting us to believe that Charlie Kirk was hit with a 30-06 from a few hundred feet away from the rooftop of a building. His neck did not explode. His head did not explode. There was no splatter, which is one, I think, the most underestimated things that people are overlooking. No splatter behind him, no nothing. Okay, fine.
Oh, hey, in my
All
world,
the
they're not
coincidences,
yeah.
you're saying, well, it's possible. All these convenient things you want us to believe all just happened to take place this one time. But then after this happened, there's no what I call red liquid on anybody else. There's no red liquid on the backdrop, on the people around him. But then again, there have been some photos. I do see like smeared what looks to be red liquid on some people's forearms. That has been proven. However, when they're carrying Charlie, there's not a single drop anywhere.
It's about
Anywhere?
the amount that is there. Like there's some there, but it's like there's like 98% less than there should be.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And the thing too is Farns, again, I like go just because we're going to focus on behavior. I just want to make sure that I'm being clear what I'm stating here about he's, I got to take mine down. The he's dead thing that is such a specific thing to say that is so implausible for someone to say that in that situation.
Agreed.
That you have to ask why.
Agreed.
All right. So this is the, go for it. You get rock and roll.
The FBI involved in this. Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah by a kid from Utah who left his house in Utah, drove to the university in Utah, and allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. Nobody ever crossed a state line. There's literally nothing in this case that would make it federal, unless there was a conspiracy, in which case it would be a federal case and the FBI would be involved. So Kash Patel was asked this early on, and he said, we're just offering the FBI's expertise to the Utah State Police. Like, really? Is that just what it is? Because offering your expertise means sticking stuff in a FedEx and sending it to Utah so they can do with it what they want. Or maybe you put one FBI, lab person at their disposal. You don't have the FBI director fly out there with a plane load of FBI agents. It's not a federal case. I don't understand.
He is correct. This is unusual. And you have a right to feel that this is very suspicious. You have a right to ask questions, as I demonstrated in my back forth with Andrew Wilson. You have a right to look at this and go, hey, it's very strange that Kash Patel apparently shut down Joe Kent, who wanted to investigate whether or not there were foreign ties. If there are no foreign ties, then why would you have an issue with people investigating those non-existent foreign ties? And then when people say, hey, I think there's foreign ties, you gaslight them and say you have no positive evidence. How could we have positive evidence when the department that's supposed to find that positive evidence is told don't do that? And then we have Turning Point USA, who's upset with the person who wanted to investigate those ties, but not upset with Kash Patel. Going to events with Kash Patel, dressed up with your buddy. People are starting to notice that all of this does feel and look like a conspiracy.
Oh,
Yep. And I mean the entire story where the FBI gets involved on the day of, it's just another thing where, of course, there's no way for me to be able to verify what happened for sure, but I find it extraordinarily suspicious that the local people had dogs out there looking for the rifle. This is a rifle that supposedly was just fired. They can't find it. The feds come out. They find it in a chicken coop. It's like, okay, so
right.
Can you run me through how they found that if the dogs couldn't find it? Like, from what I understand, we bring dogs because they can smell things very easy. And a gun that was supposedly just shot, you have any idea how easy a dog would find that? They had two of them. One of them, I heard, was actually an award-winning dog who won placed, I can't remember, it was like third or fourth, I feel like, in a national competition in Las Vegas. So we're talking like one of the best dogs in the country at finding, and that one didn't find it,
Right. Even though they're designed, they have the types of noses, and they can find rifles that was fired, days before.
Yeah.
Let alone minutes before,
Yeah. Nate, Valhalla VFT Green Beret he's telling me the dogs that they used in Afghanistan. He's like, that part is ludicrous. He's like, these dogs will find anything. He told me a story. I'm going to butcher this, but he said that they found a cache of weapons that it was like 30 feet dug underground, and then was covered and all this. And they found that, it's like this gun and anybody who doesn't have experience with firearms, you can ask anyone who does how overwhelming the smell is of gunpowder after a firearm's been shot. It smells. It's very, very, very strong.
Yes, and I've demonstrated this on my channel. This just goes to show just how big this case has become, because there are so many different people from so many different backgrounds posting their own videos that's showing from so many different angles and perspectives the holes and the irregularities and just things that don't add up. This guy demonstrated with an Australian Shepherd, which was his personal dog.
Yep.
That he's been training. What he did was he had his dog on the leash. He walked around the corner, went into a field, and he took an ink pen, scribbled a little bit of this ink pen on a small piece of paper, kept the paper, tossed the pen into this field, walked all the way back down the road around the corner to his dog, allowed his dog to just sniff this incy bit of ink that was on this notepad. Dog goes into a wet, muddy field. It took the dog about 2 minutes, which makes it even all the better. It tells you that it's not rigged. Dog had no clue where it was. It was all on the other end, and its nose eventually led it to that ink pen.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The craziest dog story I've ever heard, and I remember this because when I heard it, it just burned itself into my brain. There was a case in San Diego of a girl who was kidnapped and murdered. It ended up being a serial killer that had done it. And they got bloodhounds, and the bloodhounds tracked. This is I can't remember if it was weeks or months or whatever, long period after, they tracked where this guy had driven her 40 minutes away into an Indian reservation where where he dumped the body. And we're talking the bloodhounds took him there, and they didn't find anything. So they thought the dogs were, they would get out. They would literally stop at every exit, let the dogs out of the vehicle, and then they go, nope. And they get back in, keep driving east. They took him to this Indian reservation, and long later after this, that's where they found her. These dogs, it's unfathomable, dude.
So this is Jesse and I's very long way of saying what they're lying.
They're lying.
Clearly. That's another exception they want us to just assume happened in this case. Okay, fine.
Yep. But let's get because everybody knows this stuff. They know what to be suspicious of. Let's talk about the indicators that TPUSA is involved in what happened. And my contention from the beginning has always been there is no scenario where they would have been murdering Charlie. Here's the other thing. The more people who are involved in something like this, the less likely it's a murder. My buddy said this to me last night, which I thought was the funniest thing ever. Because when you go through it and there's so many people involved, he's like, dude, it's like a surprise birthday party, except instead of a party, they're going to murder him. And everybody's like, okay, yeah. Hey, I'm in, dude.
Thank you. Candace has said herself publicly multiple times that immediately when she saw the event, the video, she was like, those people are not normally there. What are they doing there? Why would you add people? You say, well, because that actually shows that they did take them out, because Charlie wouldn't find it suspicious that they're coming along, not to mention that there's so many young people. So it's normally, let's just throw out a number, 15 people that comes along with Charlie. But instead of there being 15 people that comes along, there's 25. Why would you add an additional 5 to 10 people and you expect every single person to keep their mouth shut? You expect you're going to add people, which increases the likelihood that you're going to slip up. You're going to mess up somehow.
Yep, exactly that.
Off to betray Charlie, unless you need more people. And I've said this before, allegedly. Everything I'm saying is alleged. Unless it's a movie production. Unless it's production, then it would make more sense that you need more people there, because you need a cleanup crew. You need you need a producer.
Yep.
You need an editor, right? You need the actual actors and the actresses. You need the makeup crew. Everybody has a job to do. And when you look at it through those lenses, let's just pretend that you don't believe that Charlie rigged this and Charlie's actually passed away. Fine. Answer this for me. Just pretend for 30 seconds that what we're saying is true. or could be true. Wouldn't it make more sense when you look at the behavior of everybody around Charlie? Now it would make more sense, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to that.
So that's exactly what it is. It's like if you don't go into it, I think why it was easier for me is because I was not looking at them from the beginning. I never considered, I thought if Israel was going to do it, they would have done it with more like, they would have done it more covertly. They wouldn't have done it so public. So I never really looked in that direction. I was always looking on the left. So when I saw their behavior months later and I saw these videos of them from the day of, it was fresh. Like, it was just like, I hadn't even looked at them. So I hadn't decided that these guys were villains. And so I looked at it through fresh eyes and I was like, oh my God, dude, he might be right. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go through the different parts of this from the day of, and then we can discuss each one and whether we think that, and I'm talking about to the chat also. Okay. So we're going to go through each piece of this and then you guys tell us. We're going to assume for this thought exercise that TPUSA for some reason had foreknowledge. Obviously, everything we talk about in this stream is just hypothesis. There's nothing that we're saying is a statement of fact. But for this thought exercise, we're going to go through a weird behavior that doesn't make sense. And then the chat, we're going to throw it to you and you say whether or not you think that that behavior is more likely to indicate murder or hoax. Okay. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay. So first one is Terrell Farnsworth. Okay. Terrell Farnsworth is the head of audio visual at TPUSA, who, according to Candace, does not do these events. Okay. He is the head of the department. He's the top guy. He's not normally there, but he is there this time. Okay. Throughout the entire event, he is very involved with what's going on with Charlie. He's going up, he's moving things around, he's talking to people while Hunter Kozak is in line. And I could pull this up, by the way. While Hunter Kozak's in line, Hunter Kozak is going like this with his hand, like it looks like he's making a gun at Charlie. And you watch, and Farnsworth is looking at him, and he looks like steam's coming out of his ears. He gets mad. He turns and goes and starts saying something to Mikey McCoy, angry. And then Mikey McCoy goes like this to him. And it's on video, right?
And I wish we had that video queued up just in case it's somebody who hasn't seen it.
Can you find it? Find it on X real quick.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that you have Hunter Kozak, who is on video going like this, walking around the event, going like this. And then when Charlie gets shot, he immediately goes like this, the exact same reaction that he seemed to have been practicing earlier. But Farnsworth, okay, as soon as Charlie gets shot, he beelines over, goes walking down that hallway, not running, not like a person who, like from my perspective, not a person who's frantically afraid of getting shot or someone who is in shock from seeing their friend get shot. He he moves over to the wall, which is over there, and he's standing on it so that he gets that perfect shot, turns it on himself, films himself saying, yada, yada, yada. Oh my God, he's dead. Okay. Then calmly walks over and takes the SD cards out of the camera. My theory on why those particular cards are so important is because they have a vantage point that no other camera had that maybe could have been capturing what the security guards are doing when they come over the table, which maybe is not exactly what they've been telling everybody, but we'll get to that later. Okay. Does that indicate, is that more likely to be A, murder, or B, hoax? Those are your two options. Chat, do it. Let's see. Like, we're just talking about just that behavior. Which is it more likely to indicate? Okay.
And while they're giving feedback, I just want you to know, Jesse, I found the link. I already found the video. I emailed it to you. So that way you can show it and pause it as you need.
Okay. All right. Let me, I will pull that up right now. Yeah. Cause I bet a lot of people have not, like, that's one of those ones that I only saw very recently. You know what? The only thing is I'm a little bit concerned that, this is I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I want to show this just because anything from the day of where you can see Charlie, like it usually, like I get demonetized. You ever show this? Like if you can even see Charlie in the tent, I get demonetized instantly.
Fair.
They got set up.
All right. So we'll do this. We'll link it.
Murder.
In the description.
That indicates murder. So actually, I'm not going to push back on the part. I should have separated these, actually. I should have said the part where he's on the wall and films it. because him going and taking the SD cards out, in my opinion, that could be either way. Like taking the SD cards could completely be either way. If they knew that they were going to sell it, that it's a rifle, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a community.
Right.
Okay. So actually, you know what? Why don't you present the next one? What's the next one you want to talk about?
One of my favorites.
Security.
Mikey McCoy. No,
okay.
We're going to talk about Mikey McCoy. We all know that Mikey McCoy behaved weirdly that day. All to tell me which is more likely, Mikey McCoy being complicit in a powwowing of Charlie Kirk and betraying him. Remember, he's the chief of staff since he was 18 years old. Or hoax. Mikey McCoy turns around so fast where he couldn't even see what happened to Charlie. He didn't even wait to see. Charlie goes like this. Mikey was already turned around. You say, well, give him the benefit of the doubt in the sense of we believe he betrayed him. He didn't even look back one time. And what also bothers me, outside of the fact that he walked so far away and you can see him on camera, he still never looks back one time when Charlie's even getting carried to the SUV. You believe he not only betrayed Charlie, but he was so ruthless with it that a person that he once cared about, he don't even care how badly it happened. Were they successful? He didn't even attempt to look and see. But what makes it even worse is, and I'm probably getting into another one, but this still ties Mikey McCoy. Then they post a video of the casket, I guess, coming out of the hospital into the hearse. How did they get a casket so fast? Casket coming out of being loaded into the hearse. And you see Mikey McCoy in the back, like shriveled up against the chair. That's performative to me. It's performative because you didn't do any of that. You had none of those emotions when it first happened. You didn't even know. You didn't even look to know. You weren't curious. You weren't afraid for your life. You weren't running. You calmly walked away. Which is more likely, everybody? I'm just asking you. Yes, we know what the possibilities are. Which makes the most sense? Because that's just Mikey McCoy.
Yep.
Then we're going to talk about these other 7 people with weird behaviors too.
Yep.
And then it starts to look like something else.
Yep. Yeah. So then the other one is security. The security guys. Okay. This is very basic security training protocol. If your principal gets shot, stabbed, hurt, whatever, if there's an active threat, well, we'll talk about guns because it's very specific to this. If someone gets shot that you are protecting, that your principal is down, and you have a team of 6, 7 guys, whatever it is, let's say 6 guys, the protocol, and I validated this from many operators that I'm friends with, is 2 guys are on the principal working on him, giving him medical aid. The rest are actively looking to put down the threat. They're looking for the threat, whatever. And how are you going to put down a threat if the threat is armed and is shooting? You're going to shoot back. None of them pulled their guns, as far as I could tell, as far as I've seen. Like, no one pulls their guns. And in addition to that, the security that are around him are like looking down, smiling. Everybody saw that clip right after it happened. And everyone's like, why are they smiling? Like, this is weird. So that one is bizarre on its own. You could put, I think it's fair to say that one in particular could indicate either hoax or they are conspiring to whack him out. But what you absolutely cannot entertain is that they thought that there was a shooter on the roof, because they would have, all of them, been afraid of getting shot. They're in the one place, the only place where you know for absolute 100% certain
they have a line of sight on you,
that the shooter has line of sight at them. You know, if you move to the left 6 yards, maybe you're, I mean, it's unlikely, but maybe you're safe. If you move to the right 6 yards, they are on the X. That's the one place for 100% sure the shooter could take another shot and hit them. And they are chilling, you know, like they're behind like a table that you could shoot through with a 22. So with that, you have more suspicious stuff that indicates, in my opinion, that what you're being told about what happened is not true, and they seem to have foreknowledge. So you go into that. Then you get to the part where if you ask any single military operator that has any combat experience and has tended to gunshot wounds, ask them what it was like. blood volume, what it was like during and after, and they will all say the same thing because I've talked to 20 of them. You can't even fathom how much blood comes out of the body. They're like, these guys are telling me they were wringing their shirts out of blood. You saw blood come out in super dramatic fashion. And it, I mean, like that, actually, we were going to show, both of us were actually recorded the first time that we saw those videos. We'll show that later. I mean, that was tough for me, for sure. But then when he gets carried, the amount of blood that you witnessed come out seems to be all of the blood that came out. That's it. That's a wrap. So if you're going between hoax or murder on the lack of blood, that should be pretty easy. If it's hoax, would be blood bag and squib, versus murder should have been significantly more blood. That's not complicated. I'm not even throw that to the chat because it's so obvious that you have such, like, you have to be talking about weird direct energy it's like blood is coming out of the body if that happens.
And I want to piggyback on that real fast before we get to the next one. This is very important to sort of attach to something that Jesse said earlier about what's his name, Terrell Farnsworth. Very odd behavior. Terrell Farnsworth is more concerned about the SD card than the cameras. We've already established that. That's on video. No one can refute that. Here's the issue. I'm going to tell you why I think, and this is just a theory. This is just me speculating. I believe they made a concerted effort to get every angle of Charlie and manipulate, and so that they can control what the audience would see. What do I mean? Frank Turek recording, Mikey McCoy recording. You all have been to a ton of Charlie's events. Why was it so important for you to have your phones on Charlie at such a close angle from all these different angles? I believe it's because the video footage that eventually hit the internet, which we all know, there's very few times they allow us to see graphic footage of somebody getting unalived, even if it's a public figure. I know we are in the age of the internet. The fact that they allowed that to trend, later I thought back on it and I was like, why is that? I believe it's because the footage that the original footage that they allowed us to see was manipulated. I do believe that it was manipulated, which would explain why Terrell Farnsworth cared so much about getting the SD card, because guess what cameras we'll never see? We'll never get to see the cameras that was directly to Charlie's right and directly to Charlie's left in front of Charlie. Why can't we see those footages? Can we get a close-up? Because TPUSA could put so many things to rest by just releasing that footage. For us that are considered radical, believing Charlie may have hoaxed it, put it all to rest. Let us see that unedited footage right there in front of Charlie. But instead, what we see is footage from a little bit further out.
Yep. This is these ones are hilarious. It's like when the facts come out in the trial, lots of crow you will need to eat. Jesse Fire is doing this for money. He just admitted it. When did I admit that? A, and B, the facts of the case already came out in the pre-trial hearing, which I watched every minute of. They already presented the bulk of their case.
I love these comments, Jesse.
So do I. But
please allow me to take the next one.
Yeah.
I shared something. I want you to look at it. Are you able to see it before you share the screen? What I have.
Oh yeah,
below?
I can see it, but if
you don't want to play that, we don't have to play it. Okay, fine.
I can see what it is at the start. Like
it doesn't show Charlie, but we don't have to risk it.
Is it at the moment of the gunshot?
Yeah.
I have bad luck with that.
Bet. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'll link it below. The cameraman. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. So this is specifically for the person that just commented, because I've seen all the comments.
This one right here.
Yes, we don't have to play it, but
no, yeah, just show. I'll show the still. Yeah.
So the cameraman here, the moment the pow-powing, the sound goes off, they're not scared, they're not shocked, they're not confused. Everybody's running. So this is for those that'll say, well, maybe they didn't know what happened. Maybe they thought it was a part of the show. People are running in pandemonium. It's pandemonium. People are screaming and running and hiding and ducking, but the cameraman don't. They don't run, they don't duck, they don't hide, they don't drop their cameras. They calmly turn around and just started getting footage of people. Mm-hmm. What's happening here? In this footage that I'll link below in the description, you can also see Mikey McCoy casually on his phone walking off.
Yeah.
Mikey, what are you doing? Don't you want to know what just happened? What about this cameraman? Why aren't you all confused? For those, and again, this is not an attack for anybody that believed that Charlie was betrayed. I understand why you hold that position. This is where someone has to reconcile this. The cameramen were in on it. So the cameraman betrayed Charlie.
It's a surprise.
The cameraman, Mikey McCoy, Frank Turek, the security. That's just what we've established so far. The cameraman were in on it. And if you've never seen the footage, those of you that are on my channel, I've shown it multiple times. So I know you all have seen it.
Everybody knows the security footage on my channel too. Yeah.
You got to explain the cameraman. Shot goes off. They're originally facing the crowd, holding the cameras. As soon as the shot goes off, they don't look at Charlie. They don't look to see what happened. They turn around and just start filming people.
Yep. Yeah.
You got to explain that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't fancy myself like some kind of super genius.
Agreed.
I just look for
Common
situations
sense.
where I know what a person should feel based on how I would feel. And there are lots of situations where you can go, well, their personality is different. But when you get down to baseline human survival instinct, that's out the window. And so in a situation like this, someone gets shot. If you see people who are not afraid, you have to look super hard at those people. It's another reason why I was so hard sold that it was leftist radicals, is because of the guy who turned around and started cheering USA, USA. And then he did the thing afterwards where he was, where he's like, my soldiers are dying, including Charlie, whatever. And because nobody turns around and looks in the direction of a shooter and starts cheering, standing up. That's not a thing that anyone would do unless you knew it was coming and you're in on it. Right. And, which again is why as soon as I recognized how many people at TPUSA appeared to do that day, that's when I was like, wait a minute, dude. Because I dismissed all of this conspiracy stuff with them before. And
so I got to ask the question.
Go for it.
The security, I mean, the camera crew, It is on footage. It's not debatable. Yes, you can't say, well, DD, what's your positive evidence? I don't have any positive evidence. What I'm telling you is I don't know why they did it. It just makes no sense that they weren't shocked, scared. Here's another person, set of people. Now they're part of the team that aren't shocked, surprised, confused, afraid, running, nothing. They aren't looking to see if there are other people that need to be apprehended. No, nothing. So my question is that more likely that they are in on the whole, in on setting up Charlie and powering Charlie, the camera crew as well, or is it more likely it's a hoax?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't have the answer to that question either. I just know that from my perspective, the more people who are involved, and I mean, like, this is as sure as gravity. The more people who are involved, the less likely it's a murder. Simple
Agreed.
as. That's
Agreed.
it. You know, because it's to put somebody down, one person can do that. Sneak on a roof, take a shot. Okay. To convince the world that an incredibly prominent figure was shot and killed at an event like this, that takes a lot of people. That takes a lot of collaboration, and it takes a lot of, you're talking lots and lots of people. Doesn't prove anything, but then when you start looking at the case itself and how flawed the actual evidence is, and for whatever reason, and by the way, just so I make this clear, the reason I put this out when I first started putting it together was because I looked at it. I was pretty confident that I had figured it out. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, if it's not me, I'm going to think that they whacked him out. I'm going to think that they clipped him. I thought that by me putting this out, it would take the pressure off of them because everyone thinks they killed them. And they're in such an impossible position because when people are like, you did it. And they're like, no, we didn't. They're fighting with both hands tied behind their back because they did conspire in this thing. If we're right, like they are actively involved in this thing, and but they can't say what they actually did. And so how are you supposed to? So that's why they're like, oh, feed them the, Fed slop. And everybody's like, yeah, no. Nope. Don't believe it. If we're right, then like, what are they supposed to do? They're just completely caught in a box.
Which I also believe was part of the agenda as to why they paid Candace Owens for this debate with Andrew, because Andrew was so unprepared and very nervous. It was very strange. But also, I believe it's because they wanted to keep the false dichotomy going, what I've been calling the false dichotomy. That is to say, was Charlie betrayed or did Tyler Robinson do it? As if those are the only two options. that are to be presented when there's another option that's very likely. If it was such a stupid theory and it's not even possible, I would understand. Because of the things that we're mentioning, it's a valid question. It's something to truly explore. And if it leads nowhere, it leads nowhere. But there are too many things here. Yeah. Let's get to Hunter Kozak. Can we get to Hunter Kozak?
What's that?
Can we discuss Hunter?
Oh, for sure. I spoke to Hunter Kozak because I went so hard on him early on when I was looking at the leftists, and I was like, this guy, I offered him $20,000 to take a lie detector test. And he agreed to it on X. And then when it came down to it, he said he didn't want to do it because he looked into it and there are too many false positives. At the time, you know, once I spoke to the guy, I'm like, oh man, dude, this guy participated in a murder. I was like, I don't know, man. My gut is telling me that this is not a person who would participate in a murder. But then I would go and look at like his interviews and I'm like, this guy's faking it, man. Like this is fake. This feels fake to me. But I can't so many reconcile things. This when I spoke to him. You know what I mean?
There are so many things wrong with this Hunter piece. Let's please talk about him.
Go for it.
So obviously Hunter's dad, I believe his name is Steve Kozak. Obviously he's tied to Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, who works literally out of a Freemason lodge. We're not going to go down that angle, but I'm just pointing out the facts. Jimmy Kimmel, the same Jimmy Kimmel, by the way, that was temporarily suspended for saying some insensitive things about Charlie. I thought that was very interesting. All right. Hunter Kozak, his family has been involved in media before. They've been
heavily
involved in crises before in the state of Utah. So they have experience dealing with the media and dealing with traumatic events. I thought that was very interesting. But something else that's very interesting about Hunter is I'm not here to just regurgitate.
Make sure people know why he's important to the story, like who he is and what he did. You know what I mean? Like just in case they don't know, there are probably a few people who don't know who he is.
Okay, fair enough. Hunter Kozak is the individual that was asking Charlie Kirk the question at the time that he was pow-powed, specifically and ironically about trans shooters and violence.
Trans violence.
Very, 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 very interesting. But Hunter Kozak can also be seen on camera doing what appears to be rehearsing with this type of reaction. What was he doing that for? Well, before Charlie even made it to the table, made it to the microphones, he could be seen on camera doing this. Now, some people are saying he's since explained this, and he said that he was shocked about something he read on his phone, but he wasn't reading his phone at the time. Both of his hands were on his head.
Typically what he said, just because we're going to show it, is he said that that's a thing that he does when someone says something stupid. He goes, oh. And he said someone said something dumb in the line in front of him, so he did. Then he just happened to do the same thing when Charlie got shot.
Fair enough. That does not make any sense. But then it gets even worse. You can also see Hunter, and I'll link it in the description because we don't want to test it here, just in case it shows something insensitive regarding Charlie. But you can also see Hunter outside of the point that Jesse's already made, his interactions with Terrell Farnsworth. You can see him. He looks very, very stressed. And there's been videos where he's highlighted. He's the only one sitting there pacing. He's pacing. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that's because he was in on it. He was in on setting up Charlie, or he was in on, he's a leftist. Well, you would have to explain or account for, do you believe that Charlie's team set him up in conjunction with this guy? Here's another thing, because if that's the case, TPUSA don't even suspect him. They're not even calling for him to be questioned. They're not even attacking him. In fact, they called this guy to do the to ask Erica a question during the CBS interview. Why is he there? Who cares if you were the person that was asking Charlie a question? You're not that important unless you're an important character in this piece. He showed up like he was a conservative to this interview with Erica. Oh, I'm so sorry about what you went through. Are you though? I thought you hated Charlie, and many of you all call for violence. I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying that segment on CBS. That was one of the craziest things ever when they're like, Erica, we've brought the guy who was asking Charlie the question when he was shot and killed. We have him right here to ask you a question.
Weird.
And he's going to confront you about your support of Donald Trump here on CBS. You're like, what?
Weird.
Like, that is crazy.
And let me make sure I say this out loud. The same reaction for those of you that may have not seen it, may have never heard this angle before, that we see the same thing that we see him doing before, that he claims he does when someone says something silly or stupid, is the exact same thing he did once Charlie gets hit. And to me, I don't mean this sarcastically, I understand if you don't agree with this point. His reaction was performative to me. He where's the crying though, bro? Where's the crying? Which is another point that's very strange to me. How many of these people that was around Charlie, even if you believe they betrayed him, don't you think they'll at least feel some regret? Like a little bit of remorse, maybe something? How many of them have you seen actually crying? How many? Like 1, 2, maybe 3. Even if the number is 3, I'll grant you that. I don't know if I've seen 3 people crying, bro.
And how many times have you seen them
weird.
try to talk about Charlie and get overwhelmed and choked with grief and not be able to speak? Like every person who loses someone close to them and then is forced to talk about them over and over and over.
Right.
That's a very hard thing to fake. And I mean, I'm glad they don't try, because it would be embarrassing, I feel like. You know,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the other thing that we forgot about the lead up to the event itself, the security and all that, is what appears to be a very obvious sequence of signals that the TPUSA team starts giving. Like, look, I played baseball, okay, when I was younger, and I know a indicator steal second sign, right? Tip of the brim, on the arm, all that stuff. And you're watching, you're like, huh. I remember that they put that out. Like someone caught that almost immediately, like immediately following. And this was way before I was even entertaining any of that stuff. And I remember looking at that and going, huh, that is weird. Like, you know, it was one of those things that I just, you know, noted and dismissed, because I'm like, okay, well, obviously they didn't have anything to do with this. But when you watch it back, you're like, it looks to me like you have someone starts it, you know, and I think, my opinion, Charlie on the nose starts it, and then you watch all of them giving these sequence of signs, and you're like, so that guy, and that guy all do some weird thing, all in the 1, 2, 3, 4, and
Pow.
then whoop, bang. How do you explain that? Why? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, why would you need to do that if it's just going to be a death?
Agree. Here's another thing. George Zinn. Now, what they'll typically say, the opposing side, they'll say, well, he's known for being a provocateur. He's known for doing this and showing up at these events. Yeah, but he's known for showing up at these events, and this is something that needs to be said out loud, because he knows something is going to happen. So can we talk about that part? Who did he know? Who was he talking to know that something was going to happen? Because you always say he's known to show up at these events and he's known around Utah for doing these things. Okay, that means because he knows something is going to happen.
Right.
Who told him that something was going to happen that day? Can we talk about that, Andrew?
I mean,
who told him that?
Yeah, Andrew said that on the Rogan podcast. That he's a known provocateur. So, you know, that explains that. You're like,
no, but it doesn't.
What,
it explains that something else that someone gave him
foreknowledge. Someone gets shot so I can say I did it.
All right. I'm going to drop my pants and distract people. For who told you to do that? What did you think was going to happen that day?
Like later, definitely bring that up. Make him defend that. Be like, you think that makes sense? That you're
right.
This guy. Make him defend that.
Man, yeah.
Eat him up, dude.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yep. There's something we can't show here. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, YouTube is weird. They'll flag the video, but I will link it in the description. You have my word. I do not lie. I am not a disingenuous person. When they're carrying Charlie to the SUV, there are 2 ladies standing back by the SUV. Once again, when I say, if you are expecting me to believe that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 young people all conspired against Charlie, I'm struggling to believe it. What am I talking about? Back behind by the Wagoneers, there's an African-American young lady filming. She's not scared. She's not running. She's doing the very same thing we saw all these other people doing, just recording. They're not afraid for their life. It's not pandemonium. They're just still. She recorded Charlie being carried to the SUV. Why do they need why? Because what it appears to me is that they had footage from so many different angles, including Tara Farnsworth, who left the scene and decided to start filming What are you filming? And then it's like, oh, I recorded myself. No, I think that's also what you did. But you also showed Charlie as well to then give the most unemotional, unconvincing video.
Let's watch that.
They got him. Who is they? How do you know that? Oh, they killed him. How do you know that he's deceased? You don't know that yet. That's weird. But what they'll tell you is you have to provide proof that he knew. No, I don't. What I have to provide is a sequence of events that comprehensively come together and tells me something else is going on here. All these young people filming, not scared, not crying, not running. I'm going to also link in the description the young Caucasian girl. I think she's a blonde with I believe she was wearing a MAGA hat. It was a red cap. And I will 100% prove this. Earlier, Jesse said smiling. I don't know if I ever saw the security smiling, but we did see them smirking. I want to make that because we're not going to give them an inch to say that we're lying. She was as well. She looks to be about maybe 25 at the most, maybe 22, 23. Charlie gets pow-powed, supposedly, just like Mikey McCoy, and I'm going to prove this. I have this clip queued up, by the way. We're just not going to show it here because we don't want to risk it.
I'm looking.
She doesn't even look at Charlie. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? She doesn't run. She doesn't duck. She does not even look. And I've shown this to my audience. I pause it so it's a video. So you know I'm not editing it. There's no AI involved. She is smirking.
Yep.
She was on inside of the gate. So that means she's with Charlie them. She's not a leftist, a raging leftist that was so happy Charlie got hurt. That explains why she's smirking. No. Explain that to me. She's not running. She calmly walks off. She was like maybe 6-7 feet away from the camera crew, who also were not scared, did not seem surprised. What's going on here, people? You got to explain this to me. You're telling me not to do it because it's offensive to Charlie's family. It doesn't align with who Charlie was. I'll grant you that. Charlie was a very respectable. I believe he would have been president in a number of years. I believe he was extremely brilliant. Disagree with him on a plethora of different things, including foreign policy. But you're going to disagree with all humans on something, for sure. But Charlie was brilliant, so that you all know how I felt about Charlie. I disagree with Charlie on a number of things. However, no human is perfect. But we don't actually know these people. We also have to admit that too. We don't know these people. We know who they present themselves to be. And proof of that is when they start talking about things that was happening behind the scenes, such as like beefs, internal beefs, and people falling out, and things that were alleged about how TPUSA was really being ran, and strip club buses and all these things. We don't know these people in real life. We know what they present to us.
That's fair. Yep.
I went on a tangent there, but there.
No. You're good. I just had never heard the strip club buses thing.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah, I interviewed a guy on my channel. I'll try to link that in the description if I can remember. Who formerly worked for TPUSA. And the crux of the interview was that he was talking about how many things didn't stand out to him. And it was just so strange. And he said that one of the things that people don't know is that there's a lot of drinking. And this isn't even about tarnishing Charlie's legacy at all. Because it's possible Charlie didn't know about it. I asked the gentleman, did he think Charlie knew about it? He said possibly. But apparently part of the orientation, or when young people started working there, they had strip club buses that they would have the young people come on. That was partying and drinking and fornication and people sleeping with each other. He talked about this in the interview I did with him.
Yeah, I showed a video. I did a video yesterday where Milo Yiannopoulos, and this is a segue that we're going to talk about in a second. Actually, real quick, because that's actually a segue that's going to matter. So Savage Casey, one of yours says, Hunter's arms raise up almost before. By the way, if I'm looking down, it's because your face is down. Like this is where you're like, and I used to have a stand that I would put it on, but I don't have it right now. Anyway, Hunter's arms raise up almost before the bang at 30 seconds remaining in the same video. So I have watched that clip many times of when Charlie shot in Hunter's reaction, and I've looked at it very closely in terms of how did everyone else react. Everyone's looking the same direction. Everyone is watching Charlie, and it's like that's the kind of thing where it's extremely tight. You're talking about seconds, but it's like, how long did it take everyone else to register what just happened, and how long did it take Hunter? His reaction 100% is the fastest out of everybody and the most dramatic.
I didn't even know that.
Of everybody, like you looked at that too, I'm sure, right? Like, so all the other people kind of look, and then it's like it like seeps into their brain, and they go, "Oh my God!" And then they all start moving.
Right.
He immediately, and his hands, his hands are shaking instantaneously. Now, maybe it's because he asked a question, or maybe it's because of something else. But there are literally a dozen people in the shot around him, and they all react literally exactly the same. He's the one who stands out. Anyway. On the other thing, though, the segue related to what Didi was talking about with the strip clubs and all that is I put out a video yesterday where Milo Yiannopoulos was talking about Benny Johnson's behavior at one of these conferences, like, and then dudes, right? The reason that's a segue into this next segment is because if people have not watched my series on this, you may not know that in December, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was like December 5th, December 4th, somewhere right around there. First week of December, Milo's on the Timcast podcast, which I'm doing September 1st, by the way. If everybody wants to watch it, September 1st, I'll be on Timcast IRL. But so he's doing that show. And he goes, I know for an incontrovertible fact that Charlie Kirk has not been buried, that his body has not been buried. He knows it for an incontrovertible fact. I'll show you guys the clip. And everybody, he is telling the truth as he believes it to be. And that's 90 days after the shooting and after they did the draped over we haven't even gotten into all the weird shit that they did afterwards. I don't even know what to even describe it as, like the video service that happened 48 hours later. Right. And he says that he has not been buried. And within a week, Erica, it goes on a press tour talking to CBS and all these other places talking about, can I just have this one thing? Can I have this one thing? Okay. I don't want people to know where Charlie's buried because I don't want people to desecrate his grave. It's not an unreasonable request if that was a request that had not been preceded by someone outing them that he's not been buried within a week earlier. Like the timing of that, I'm like, okay, that's it. And I'll show you guys a clip so that you guys see, like, it doesn't look to me like he's speculating at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll pull that.
Are you going to show it here?
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead. But what are your thoughts? And I'll pull it up here.
Yeah. That's another, very crucial piece. And this is why, at the very least, I say for anybody who don't even like to entertain the possibility of Charlie being alive, I don't really respect it, because I respect it if you met Charlie and you can't fathom it. But with this piece here, it's just the reasons to believe that it's very possible just continues to mount. We don't have a body. Like, if for nothing else, if it's been confirmed by somebody that I would deem as credible, and I don't know who I would call credible in that circle, that Charlie's body has been seen and it's very clear, then I would understand.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a body, people. They won't even bury the dude 90 days afterwards. What are we talking about?
So check this. Yeah. So check it out. You guys can gauge whether you think that Milo's telling the truth. And whoops. There we go. Pool show. Okay. On December 5th. Okay. Well, or this aired on December 5th. Okay. You can see that right there. December 5th. Okay. Now, what came out of that episode was the following. Okay. This is the clip right here taken from that episode. This one was posted on the 6th, but the actual episode was on the 5th. This is a clip taken from the episode that was posted on the 5th, and the date is very important. Okay. So let's watch this together. Oh, I'm sorry. Some context. They right now are talking about Candace Owens and her investigation into the Charlie Kirk case. Tim, this is when Tim was going on his tirade. This is right around where he was calling her the C word, all of that stuff. Okay. So let's go ahead and rock and roll.
For lawyers to share offices with government departments.
She did not vet
for the security,
that the planes at the airports actually loaded up cars and went to that building. She made that up.
You're not going to hear from me that she's got everything right. I'm not here to say that.
Endless,
clearly,
bullshit.
Clearly, that's not the case. But first of all, I believe that she is motivated by a sincere desire to find out what happened to Charlie Kirk. Second,
agree.
We don't know. We still don't know, because they are telling untruths about it. I know for a fact, for an absolute fact, that Charlie has not been buried yet. I know for an absolute incontrovertible fact he's not.
And this is December 6th, which, listen, I might need a refresher in counting to 1, 2, 3, but that's 3 months after he got murdered. 3 months. Does that sound normal? Has not been buried yet? He hasn't been buried yet. What? But how does that make sense? Okay. More to come. And again, this is December 6th, but the actual thing happened got posted on December 5th. Okay. I don't know when they recorded it. Could have been 3rd, 4th. Yeah. So anyway, there's more of that. And he just goes into it where he like swears on everything. He swears on literally everything. It's like, I look at that. I'm like, he thinks he's telling the truth at the very least, You're muted. You're muted.
So yeah.
There you go.
Which leads us to our next point. The casket video. Can we talk about the casket? Can we play the casket video?
Yep. Do you have it?
I have it. Here,
Yeah,
I'll add the video.
Let's
here.
play that. Then we'll do some super chats because we're way behind.
All right, perfect. Casket, not that one. Actually, you go ahead and do that. Start reading some super chats, and I'll find the video.
Okay, cool. All right. And I don't know, dude, I don't know what happened to this stream. But when I see something weird happen, I'm always like, because at 106, between 106 and 107, 1,400 people in 1 minute supposedly left this stream. I've never seen that before, but then it started creeping.
And I'm seeing
up.
weird things on my end too.
Really?
On my channel. Yeah, with the viewers. Like it'll go from like
1,400 in 1 minute dropped.
Yeah, that's not something wrong there.
Yeah, it's super weird. Anyway, okay, so you never did check my message. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at that. If you have heavy duty, if you have Dan's cell, just tell him I said it's fine to give you my cell phone number. Love you both. Good team up. Thank you very much, Henry. I don't even know what these silver star things. I don't know what that.
I don't either.
Okay. Anna Claire, has Barron shown the pic where Charlie's face looks quote dead to DD or Charlie? Also can't ignore evidence of evildoers in his inner circle, bad people. No, but also again, I'm open to every option. Like if he's dead, I wouldn't feel like I wouldn't be. I mean, I would be sad, but not because I was wrong. I would just be sad because I hope he's not dead. But anything coming from photographs and videos, I have a hard time with right now, just because it's so, I can just go create whatever I want on my side. So it's hard to, I don't know how that's a much larger conversation of how you trust anything anymore. But A Barnes, oh, what's up, my man? Cash me outside in 33 hours. Secondly, I enjoy Tom and Nova's music sometimes. Cash me outside in 33 hours. I don't know if we're talking about cash, but this one's yours.
Zero proof of death, no autopsy photos, no open casket funeral. Erica with the baby wax hands in the casket video, no funeral, only a mock funeral, no burial. Right there. I'm not saying that proves that Charlie's alive. What I'm saying is, if we are exploring this theory, if we're being objective and emotions to the side about how much we cared about Charlie or care about Charlie, what that person just said, explain it. That's all.
Yep. Hollywood and Vegas, baby. And this one's yours too.
Gina. Hey, Gina. Thank you for $20. I can't stop thinking that, quote unquote, they, along with Charlie Kirk, planned a faking it, then took him out for real. So everyone around TPUSA thinks he's alive somewhere drinking margaritas. Jen has stated this multiple times. And I say this is the closest thing that I'm willing to entertain out of what we're talking about today. He was definitely a liability to elites in little hats. And the reason why I am willing to entertain this theory from Gina is because it would still explain everything we're talking about. Why no one seemed to be most people did not seem to be shocked or afraid, but because they rehearsed something, allegedly, just exploring this theory, they rehearsed something, they acted it out that day, and then so they're under the impression that what they rehearsed actually happened, and maybe they actually took out Charlie. which would explain why Mikey never left. It's either that or I think they faked it.
Yeah. The only issue I have with that is just that, as we haven't even gotten into the aftermath and how hard they tried to sell it and how many times they've been on podcasts, for them to be behaving the way that they are, in my opinion, they would need to know he's okay, because there's no grief. And like, if they did whack him out later, then
that's fair.
That
that's
rattles
a fair
my
point.
faith. You know what I mean? Because like they seem not sad and they seem not afraid. And if he's dead for any reason, right? They would if they're involved, they would be afraid of getting the electric chair. If they were not involved, they'd be afraid of getting killed themselves, and they would be sad. If I had to guess.
Very well said.
Trump faked the earshot during election season. I thought that was the most ludicrous thing ever when it happened. Like when people said that after Butler, that would have probably been my number one, oh my God, these people are completely batshit example ever. And if we're, unless you are a person who's not self-aware, if you're in my seat and you're entertaining this, but you refuse to entertain that, then I would be very intellectually dishonest. And so I'm forced to have to entertain that is possible.
Just for the record, my position on that event that took place, I 100% believe it's staged, and I have a video on it. I'll try to link that in the description, where I'm not just spewing conspiracy theories, but I point out so many things that are very obvious to me about that day. And the one thing I'll leave you all with that before he gets to the next chat is Trump's ear was perfectly fine just days later. That makes no sense. It makes no sense, but yeah.
I've seen, one thing, I saw a picture of Thomas Crooks' head blown in half, which was it was just pretty gnarly. Again, they could fake that too, obviously, but it looked pretty convincing, dude. But, and again, they could be faking it and that kid could get clipped, A Barnes, can we bet on the outcome via fake Trump Kalshi Vegas in Hollywood? I don't know what bet on the outcome of the trial. Probably. Although I don't feel like I have a confident guess in terms of which way it's going to go in the trial. In my opinion, they did it publicly as a warning to others. Understand, in my opinion, they did it publicly to convince the world and let them see it, because that would have the biggest emotional outcome. But if he's dead, I agree with you. I agree.
Well, I think just real fast, I think even if he's not dead, they still did it publicly for a warning, right? Because if Charlie faked it, but people believe he's deceased, it can still serve the same point as to say, this is what can happen to you if you don't fall in line, because we understand who people think may have taken him out and for what reason. So two coins could be served at the same time. Shoot, I had a very good point to make and it just left me.
I hate that, man.
I hate that. And it was very important.
I know that feeling where you're like, and it only happens once every like 2 or 3 weeks. And you're like, no, I have to think of this one. This was not small.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to some of these other points that I want people to be able to explain.
Yeah, we'll go through a few more and then we'll do the rest of them later. A Barnes, Robert Kirk worked for King Trump, Warp Speed champion of the Plandemic. Wake up. I don't know anything about Robert Kirk. The reason the tables are elevated and he's on a platform, so when he falls over, there's a taller wall surrounding him, hiding him from the crowd. Look at that, dude. Another thing I missed.
I remember what I was going to say now. First of all, I wanted to. The question was that how do you know? You said this one is from you. How do you know that? Like when super chats are for me, like that.
There's a little. Okay, so look at the picture, like their default picture. If there's like a little like link next to it.
Bro, that's dope.
Yeah. So if I'm hosting, if there's a link next to it, it's not mine.
I see.
Yeah. And then so
can you put that comment back up?
Which one?
The one you just read. Okay. So that's a very good point. And that's something that I've stated before. I forget who, but an influencer talked about how Charlie's setup was different that day, but they were making the point that Charlie was set up. I'm like, that makes no sense. Charlie would know all these irregularities from that day. Charlie's not suspicious about that, but he's in fear for his life. Like, that's weird to me. That's all I'm saying. That's weird to me. This mount behind, and then there's video footage of what they were doing. Again, there's no red liquid that where's all the red liquid? Where is he? At least when he fell over, they're supposed to be slipping in that stuff. Like, I don't mean to be graphic, but it's just not. When I look at it, I'm like, there's something else going on behind that table. What were they doing all that time behind the table? You say, well, they were making sure he was out. Well, they should have it all over their hands, and I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced of that.
Yep. And if there was if they're juking it, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to unhook while people are not looking. And that would also explain George Zinn. So George Zinn, I did it. Attention over there. Also, they start releasing information about George Zinn. So people are looking, oh, who's this guy that did it, while they go and doctor the best footage that they're going to release. It's like a distraction because I couldn't put that part together. I'm like, why would Cash say they've got the guy when it just made him look stupid because they didn't have the guy if he's in on it? Right. And it's like, well, it would serve as a distraction where people are all going to be focusing on who did it while they go and make the image, the footage that they're going to put out perfect. Bingo. And another thing on that really quick is, so I actually spoke to I've only spoken to Candace one time, and it was very quickly after this because I had a piece of footage that I was trying to share with her, and she told me she couldn't find any videos from the side that were really graphic. The one I saw was from that side, but I thought that was really weird when she said that to me. It was like, I don't know, a week afterwards, and I was like, really? And I was, because that's the one I saw the day of, but I never looked for it afterwards. Right. And after she said that, I went and looked, and there was a very conspicuous lack of those videos, at least at the time. And I was like, man, that is weird. That's super weird. And I don't know if that is because they were trying to clean those up and make sure only the ones that they had, cleaned up were the ones that were out or not. But I don't know. Devil's advocate, guilt explains Mikey's behavior that Didi went over. Didn't want to burn the image of his involvement into his own mind. That's fair. That's super fair, actually. In Mikey McCoy's example, Mikey knows it's coming, and he's like, I don't want to have to look at this. And so as soon as the shot goes, he beelines out of there. That lines up for sure. If we're being intellectually honest, 100%. Yeah. If he knows it's going to happen and he's there and he's on the phone and he's like, they just did it. And he just turns around and just beelines out of there. So he doesn't have to be involved in any of the aftermath. I don't think that's what happened, but that would be,
I understand.
That makes sense.
I understand why they would present this. Here's my question. If you're Mikey and you can't handle it and you're all this amount of fragile and they're going to actually pow this man, why even show up that day?
Or why don't you tell Charlie?
Come up with some excuse. Maybe but I'm not even going to give him that out because they'll say, well, he's afraid that something could happen to him if he tips Charlie off. Okay, fine. Why not just say you're sick and you can't make it that day?
That's fair.
That's not going to stop them from not wanting to continue with this. If you don't have the stomach for it, why even be there? Instead of choosing to put yourself on camera and making it obvious that it appears you have foreknowledge. Mm-hmm. I'm not buying it. I think if he wasn't up for it, he wouldn't have went that day. Or he would have stood somewhere else, not so close to Charlie. Not buying it.
I agree with you. But she's a devil's advocate, though. And devil's advocate, that is fair. Like, it's like that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
In a vacuum, that could explain his for sure.
That's fair.
The SD card has the audio from CK's Rode mic. You fucking genius. The SD card is connected to his Rode mic. So whatever the security is saying to him on the ground is captured in that footage.
Wait, SD cards can do. Wait, the SD card from the camera is connected to his
he's wearing a wireless mic, right? Everybody knows he's wearing a wireless mic.
Oh, it is.
That audio feed is going somewhere. And when he's on the ground, and think about this. So, when the arm goes up, like his arm goes up, they're all, and people thought that like, he's just doing his death throes or whatever. My opinion is they had to unwrap something from under his arm, and they're going to be talking back. They're going to be talking down there. That audio is captured on that SD card. If that SD card has his audio on it, that's why he would have had to grab it.
Speaking of talking,
brilliant catch right there.
This is a very good catch. Speaking the best $2 that's ever been spent before.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say, while we're speaking about that, does no one find it strange that Charlie's security team wasn't speaking to each other? We already think it's weird that they didn't draw weapons. Something I've spoken about on my channel many times over the past 11 months. Why weren't they speaking to each other? So this is to prove that is either a cover up or a hoax. When they were behind the table.
Oh,
like the three main men that were down kneeling, they weren't speaking. They were just doing things and handing things. They weren't speaking. That's weird.
That's
if
really
you are just
sus.
shocked, it doesn't matter if you're trained to do this for a living. I'll give the security team the benefit of the doubt because they're trained for this, that they wouldn't be scared for their life. But you're supposed to at the very least draw your weapons. We've already been over that. Why weren't you talking to each other?
Well, someone would be assisting them, like, because they said they were in there trying to plug, trying to assault. It would be like, I'm holding this. They would be asked, like,
right.
You're right.
But
they'd be talking.
But what I will concede to is that, yes, this could explain that they betrayed Charlie or it's a hoax. It does explain. It could explain either one. I agree with that. But you mentioned the hand coming up and you believe they were unraveling something. Can we talk about Charlie's shirt puffing out, or are we not there yet?
Oh, no, we can talk about that whenever you want. Let's okay, let me do one more and then we'll take a break on these. Okay, so Marisa, thank you very much, says early Candace episode, what they were telling me, TPUSA behavior was so suspicious. They said Charlie is still alive and TPUSA knew exactly where he was. Really? She said that?
When did she say that? What episode?
Marsha, I'm telling you, or Marisa, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you send me that clip, I will kiss your face virtually through the camera because I'll be so grateful. Thank you. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to send that over.
Yeah, please. Because that if it's that early, that would have gone in one ear and out the other for me because I was months from even entertaining that theory. Okay, go. Yeah, let's talk.
So let's talk about it. So what many people believe is that the weirdness, including the former Green Beret, I believe his name is John. What's his name? The one that went on the news network and talked about how weird these things look. But here's my.
Are you talking about my buddy Nate Valhalla VFD?
Not Nate. He's not a YouTuber. The other one. No, I'm sorry. He was a part of the Elite Six that unallowed that took out.
Rob O'Neill, Navy SEAL, also a friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know him. Okay, so. He said that it looks like an explosion went off. Here's where because I think that's a very compelling theory. I'm definitely willing to entertain it. I did entertain it at one point in time, more so than I am now. Here's why. This is what I will give Andrew Wilson. Don't give him much credit from that conversation he had with Candace, but this is what I will agree to. At the very least, I'm supposed to expect at least one or two. I'm not an expert in this field, so I could be wrong here. But as a nobody looking at this, who knows nothing about it, I would at the very least expect one of maybe these few things to happen. A hole in his shirt, some sort of fire, some sort of a flash, some sort of
smoke,
hole in the shirt.
Yep.
How can something under his shirt ricochet, not go through the shirt, don't pierce the shirt at all, and perfectly get his neck? How? I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's hard for me to imagine how without the shirt giving it away. Well, either the shirt's going to rip, set on fire, something. The shirt's in good condition afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Jesse and I asked before, what's more likely? That it's some sort of explosion, some sort of projectile that's shooting into Charlie, or it's something else under his shirt?
Yep. And you know who's done incredible work on this is
the one gentleman,
Jordan and Kelly, who have like Jordan's literally Jordan
Crenshaw, I believe is his name. Crenshaw,
Henshaw with an H. Yeah, Jordan Henshaw and Kelly have done extensive, like, where basically he just goes, I'm just gonna recreate it, and he's using like a paintball gun. He's using like a paintball gun canister under the shirt. And then he does it at the same time. And you compare side by side, and it's very similar. Like it looks nearly identical. And, that doesn't prove anything. It just means you could juke it to make it look like it did is all. That's all it proves, is that you could juke it to make it look like it did.
Right. And the fact that he was able to demonstrate that at the very least should open people's minds to the possibility. And it seems that people aren't even willing to entertain it, which I don't think is very honest. That's all.
Again, I think everybody's on the same page that there is something very bizarre going on with their behavior, though. Because I remember you know what? I want to show, this is one thing I do want to show everybody that I did in one of my series, which is like, just watch Erica before all of this happened, where it's like, she is like, as soon as she was doing, you know what, actually, we should watch the section on Snake Eyes, which I covered here. And then it goes directly into the next part, which is about Erica. And then we can comment on it, because the Snake Eyes part's really important, but even before I was even entertaining this, I didn't know who Erica was prior to this. I mean, I knew he was married, but
most of us didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was. But from the minute that she was standing on the podium at the podium and she was giving her initial kind of speech or whatever, I can't even explain her like, it made my blood run cold. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't, like, not in a way where I'm like, oh, this is someone evil. I was just like, this is unwatchable cringe. And I felt that way every time that she was doing something after the assassination.
And most humans will feel that if they're being objective.
Yes. And then when I started going back and watching her before this happened, I never once felt like that. Like, I'm like, this is a different person. Like, she is nothing like this at all before this, which you're like, what is going on? And it's like, well, it would explain it if she is a very poor actress.
She's trying to figure out how to appropriately act. And it's not, yeah.
Fakeness is what makes you feel cringe, dude. People come up, they're all, hi, how are you? Are you guys having fun yet? And you're all, like, get the fuck away from me, weirdo. Right. They're faking it, dude. Like, fake makes you feel cringe. And so we're going to watch the Snake Eyes thing. And then right after that is a clip of her with Charlie before this happened. And you're like, if you're being honest, you're going to be like, okay, that doesn't, I feel very different watching this than I did that. You know what I mean? Oops. I jumped the gun there. I made us disappear before I was ready. Okay, so here's this portion. And the Snake Eyes, this is crazy town, if you don't know about this.
Snake Eyes connection.
There was a movie in 1998 called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen this. In the movie, they're at a boxing match. A politician is assassinated in the movie, and his name is Charles Kirkland. Okay, think about Charlie Kirk. This is very, very weird. Okay, he was shot on the left side of his neck. The film takes place on September 10th. Rob, that's the
date of the fight.
No,
this is what we were talking about yesterday.
This is what we were talking about yesterday. Rob, that's the poster. And then the boxer who's in on the plan, who's doing a diversion, he wakes up on the ring. His name is Tyler, like Tyler Robinson, and he's called the Executioner. Okay, Jesus. Weird. And then the tropical storm that hits in the film is called Hurricane Jezebel. And for some of you guys that saw Megan Kelly just did a piece. That's the name of the online magazine that allegedly hired witches in August to put a hex on Charlie. And the film, parts of the film were filmed at the Trump Taj Mahal and Hotel Casino. And the secret camera, which films the assassination, but the videographer doesn't let anyone know. And guess what the tagline is of the movie? Believe everything except your eyes. There was a movie.
So you keep that last part in mind. Keep that last part in mind.
Yeah. So empty your mind, and then we can talk more about that movie.
Listen, I've covered it. It's incredible to me. Charles Kirkland, I believe he was like the Secretary of Defense or something, was pow in the left side of his neck.
And literally identical spot of the neck.
But what happened is they'll say, okay, what does that mean? Are you trying to say he got unalive because of a movie? No, what I'm telling you is the way that we have been taught to understand the world, there's a completely different game that's taking place. And I believe this is called predictive programming. And people will pretend that those things are not real when they are. That's basic knowledge. And what I'm saying to you is, it's strange that, and by the way, this took place, I believe, in the Trump Tower,
Taj Mahal. Yep, in Atlantic City is
like
is the location of that movie.
And then the woman who witnessed him do this was wearing a white blazer with blonde hair. How did Erica present herself? It's the very first speech. White with blonde hair. It's like creepy. But what they'll tell you is you're a conspiracy theorist if you notice these things. Charles Kirkland, the person who goes down, which is metaphorical or figurative to say the person who goes down for this, is Tyler the Executioner. They're playing games.
Yep.
They're playing games.
And Gary Sinise is the co-star who is the guy, he's like, he works in the military. He's the one who actually orchestrated it in the movie. So he's a villain. So the Gary Sinise Foundation was founded in conjunction with the help and in conjunction with a major player at TPUSA whose name I'm never going to say because she scares the shit out of me and I do not want to make an enemy of her under any circumstances. But there's a direct connection between TPUSA and Gary Sinise, who is the co-star of this movie. I don't have any idea what that actually means. All I know is that if people are just like, oh yeah, hey, Tyler Robinson did it, he did it, whatever. I need you to explain to me how it's possible that a movie from 1998 has a character named Charles Kirkland who gets shot in the neck at the exact same spot as Charlie Kirk on the exact date that Charlie was shot. And the guy who is the distraction is Tyler the Executioner. And the guy who seems to be the make-believe distraction is Tyler Robinson. And I'll show you guys Carla Gugino in this movie. And then you just look at what Erica was wearing in these, in both, both of her main performances right afterwards. By the way, I always had a huge crush on Carla Gugino, and then I met her in the airport. She's super nice. There we go. All right, check this out. So here is that's Carla Gugino's character in the movie. Okay. Does that look familiar at all to anyone? Did anyone else find it kind of weird that Erica was wearing a white blazer in both of those two appearances, the first two appearances on the stage and also in that initial press conference? I was like, whites, okay, but it also mirrors that same movie. So to me, if you ask me, you're like, gun to your head, Jesse on Fire. What do you think it means? I would say, I think they built the operation around the movie. I think they built this op around the movie. Because that's the kind of thing. It's like, if you're operating at this level where you're doing military intelligence ops, it's like being a part of a gigantic inside joke, or an inside thing. And you plan around it. And it's like everybody is on the inside of a thing. It's crazy that they are, if we're right, that this many people could be involved in all of them, keep their mouth shut. It's very impressive, actually.
I agree. And so for those who are naysayers or contrarians to this idea, the fact that we're mentioning a film, you say, oh, I can't take these people serious. They're talking about movies. Okay, keep that same energy. Earlier, I mentioned the fact that I believe that part of the reason they were taking SD cards and they were filming Charlie, I think all of that is connected. I believe it's because they wanted to control, because remember, so many people that was present that day claimed that they didn't have the ability to film or something to that effect. Their phones weren't working properly. But whether that's true or not, we haven't seen majority or heard from majority of the students that was present that day. That's strange, but we can talk about that another time. I said that I believe, earlier I mentioned, I believe they manipulated the very first footage that most of us, that the masses saw. What do I think was manipulated? What they wanted us to see happen to Charlie. There's always been this argument back and forth about, is it the real footage that we saw where it shows Charlie's ring jump from one finger to the next? I don't know. Maybe that's an AI image someone else made, or maybe that's a part of the original footage. But what you can't deny is the hole in Charlie's neck as he's going down. It doesn't appear to me, and I'm open to someone feeling differently about this, but I've looked at the footage, and of course we can't show it here for obvious reasons. If you look at the footage of Charlie going down, it appears that this what they want us to believe is a hole is something that's been placed there, and it's editing that took place after the fact. It's a very long way of saying CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So now let me go over here to what I was referencing.
And I'll link that in the description as well, the video to that as well.
So here's this is the one I really like showing, dude. Okay, so let's watch this. This is again Erica and Charlie prior to this.
The Charlie Kirk show.
Now, of all of the preface videos that I'm going to show you, this is the one that is most impactful for me. Okay, watch this video and then tell me that you still believe that it is likely that this woman murdered Charlie Kirk and then completely absent grief has behaved the way that she has behaved since this happened. Okay, watch this.
leave everyone today?
Grammar matters more than people realize.
Words of wisdom for today.
Learn how to say words backwards.
I don't know if they were the words of wisdom for tonight.
Power shows the man. You want to find out a lot about somebody, give them a bunch of power. Power shows the man. We will be diving deep into Aristotle. We were just at Hillsdale, good school, great school. The only college, the last college.
Your words of wisdom for today.
Wise man loves to be corrected. Anyone that wants to replace error with truth is wise.
What are your words of wisdom for today?
To know the road ahead, ask those coming back.
And where are we?
We're in an elevator. I like your hat.
Baby, what are your words of wisdom for today?
Lost time is never found again.
This is the best, dude. Hey, hey guys, she's a psychopath though. I'm just saying, like, you need to start.
And then this next part is him with all of his friends after Trump won. And like these guys whacked him out.
Watching this and start to question the assumptions that you've made, because I promise I'm really good at this. Anyone in my life will tell you that if I go, listen, look at that person. If you leave them alone with whatever, they're going to steal your oranges. I am never wrong about people when I get a good solid read on them. And the reason I couldn't watch her before is because she was not being herself. And it was so obvious to me that she made my blood curdle. And here, I don't get the heebie-jeebies. I can just watch her hang out.
We're seeing Fox Call it live.
Everyone's
Charlie,
saying it.
let me give you credit from right here in Pennsylvania. You were the guy, you and Tyler convinced me. You say, Cliff, stop door knocking across the country, go back to your home state, own Pennsylvania. That will be the deciding factor. I thought you guys were nuts. We knocked 500,000 doors. We delivered Pennsylvania, and now we've got our country back. Let's do this, baby. Come on.
Let's go.
There it is.
Clean up, clean up,
All
clean
right.
up.
The
Let's
run
go.
on.
Huge win. Seems a little surreal.
We did not earn this.
Hey, but yeah, she murdered him, dude. That's probably the most likely thing.
Right.
Not
right. Yeah, I think Erica is because to the lady earlier mentioned devil's advocate. A devil's advocate will say, well, the reason why she's behaving differently now is because she knows what she did. Well, the point that we're making is that she's a bad actor, right? She's being so performative because she's trying to figure out, how do I come off as a grieving widow? And why is it that it took her, I don't know how many interviews, how many videos before we actually saw her crying, which leads me to my next point. Can I just play a snippet of, as a matter of fact, I actually won't play what I have. Can you go, I want you to play, because your video is much shorter, JP Spears' parody video.
Oh, yeah.
Of Erica. This is 6 days after the fact. She looks closer to what you just showed her looking like over the years. She didn't look like she was grieving.
I'm gonna play JP's video.
Perfect.
Yeah. This is, by the way, if you guys don't follow Awaken with JP, trust me.
I have it queued up if you want me to play it.
Oh, yeah. If you have JP's?
Yep.
Yeah, pull it up. I mean, I yeah. All right, let's do this thing.
All right, perfect.
I can't wait for the Zoom call with Erica. Yeah, I can't believe she's doing it just 6 days after Charlie, but she'll probably just be crying the whole time. Poor thing. Oh, she's on.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, it's just a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet.
Surprisingly upbeat. We're laughing a lot.
Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys.
For us. What about
6 days?
Did she know Charlie was her husband?
Turning Point USA will continue like my husband always wanted, and it'll be bigger than ever. And we're going to honor him by doing that. We're going to stay humble.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's really focused on business.
We're going to work hard because that's what he would want. And we're going to just make it grow.
Just growing the business.
But he's here and he's more alive than ever. And he is, he's going to guide us.
He's actually.
Pause that real quick.
She's guiding us.
Early on, they were dropping inside jokes like that all the time. He's more alive than ever, and he's going to be he's going to be guiding us. When they're in the White House, you actually catch someone where she says his schedule's more full or whatever. And there's a guy who's like in that group that kind of, you see this dude go, and it's like
right. But it's also important that we point this out for everybody, because you have to understand the purpose of us showing the parody video instead of just directly showing Erica is to show how bizarre it is that she's doing this 6 days after the fact. But the most important piece, she's doing this to a smaller audience. She's not talking to the world. She's talking to TPUSA employees, which means what? She has less reason to act, right? She has less reason to try to put on this performative grieving widow, performance that we've all seen that makes us all cringe. This is to a smaller audience that she does not have to convince as much. Yep. So under the impression that you and the belief that you're not being recorded and you're speaking to a much smaller group, you're much more likely to come off more upbeat and jolly like this.
Yep.
What's going on here?
And I told Justin, it's going to be something where everything before September 10th, any email you were working on, any project you were working on, it's not that it's irrelevant now. It's just things have changed, obviously.
What? So projects Charlie had us working on don't matter? Like, dude, don't you think this is a little strange? No, she's just saying if Charlie had you working on a project, don't worry about that anymore, because she's going to lead us in a more Charlie-like way than Charlie ever could. It's a change.
And I just want you to know that, again, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's definitely here now.
I feel so blessed.
Keep in mind, everybody, Erica wasn't in the office. It's been reported that Erica didn't even have a relationship with the TPUSA employees, and now she's speaking to them like, yeah, I'm going to be here because, you all know me and we're familiar with each other and there's nothing weird here. So I'm just like, what?
And to be clear about like what the implication is, if I had to hypothesize, is like she would be running the company, like running things for Charlie if he's, like in his proxy or whatever. Is that, I mean, again, just like everything else, there's no way to know for sure, obviously.
Didn't honor.
Hey, man, do you think it's weird that she's leading us now? No, not at all. That's Charlie's wife. What are you talking about? She has no background in leading significant 9-figure organizations. Her background is seeking fame through reality TV shows and beauty pageants. I mean, she's not next in line most qualified to lead us. Yes, she is. Just imagine Patrick Mahomes tragically dies in a car accident. Who would be next in line to lead the Chiefs as starting quarterback? Second string quarterback. No, dummy. Patrick Mahomes' wife. It's the same thing. You don't think this is weird? You're just overthinking it. And by the way, show some respect, okay? She's a grieving widow, but she's not really grieving. She's not doing any of that.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
There you go. You just heard her. Everyone grieves differently. Well, but nobody grieves like that. Just get over it, pussy. We got to get ready for the memorial service. It's going to be sick. Oh, no, man. I'm just so sad.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things.
Hey, Erica, the emojis are killer. So how'd this memorial perform?
I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of the century, like it's just insane.
I don't give.
To your point, Jesse, what event of the century is she really speaking about?
Exactly.
Why are you speaking about the memorial in that manner? Unless that's a double entendre and you're not talking about the memorial at all.
Correct.
Fleet insanity. Incredible. Now, what kind of numbers did we do?
We had over 275,000 people. Insane.
What is... Her husband got shot in the neck 11 days ago. Erica, now that it's been 11 days since your husband got shot in the neck, How do we do on merch?
We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But
great. It's all positives.
Huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal.
Erica, with all due respect, what about Charlie?
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
Okay. Can we bring it back to the numbers?
Since his assassination, we have 100,000 chapter requests, 300,000 new donors.
I'm so happy to hear that all of that happened.
Otherwise, honestly, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, you guys. We have so much to do, which is exciting.
Her children lost their father. Who do you think is with them right now? Erica, I'm wondering, because your children lost their father and you're not with them, could we get a read on hat sales?
I think we have 50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill.
Congrats, Erica. That's phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Charlie in heaven is like, you guys thought you had a busy schedule then, just you wait.
So you're saying that Charlie, with a heavenly perspective, wants us to work even more instead of spending more time with our families? Is that... Oh, dude, I hear she's single right now and available. Do you think it'd be cool if I mean, we're coworkers, but what do you think? Does anybody know what the is going on here? Erica, I've been looking at your beauty pageant bikini pictures, and those pictures were awesome. Where were you for those? It looked like somewhere tropical.
Charlie would want us to get back to work, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, Erica, more work from us to generate more money, because that's what matters in this situation, is what Charlie wants from heaven. Roger that. Great call. How do you feel about her? Dude, she's a tremendous leader and a grieving widow. I don't feel comfortable.
And you want to know something else that's incredible?
Yep.
And just so people are not, don't miss this cannot go unnoticed. Many times it's been mentioned that it's strange that Erica is now leading TPUSA. Do you all think that if they really believe that Charlie was taken out, that they will replace his wife in that same chair that got him unalived? Right? So the same chair, that the seat that got him pow because people are so dangerous, which is the narrative that they're pushing. You want us to believe that they thought it would be smart to now place his wife in that same chair? No.
Put the remaining parent at risk.
Put the remaining parent at risk, unless they know one or two things. I can see that this also could buy into the theory. They know who actually took him out and it wasn't the left, or they know that he wasn't taken out at all. So it's perfectly fine for Erica to sit in that seat because nothing's going to happen to Erica.
Yep. I mean, I don't know, man. Like all of it, that one, the recording, the last one he was playing, that was the last piece. That was the final thing where it was like when my buddy first presented it to me, it was like, as I was kind of going through my process, running through each thing, that would come up through my algorithm in my brain of like, okay, so what could that mean? And like at the very end, I would be like, okay, or maybe he's alive. I don't know. And it was like started at 1%, then it was going up by 1%. That one right there that's the one that pushed me over the edge, was that recording right there when, where you can't see her face. And I said, I ended the stream, either she's an alien or Charlie Kirk's alive. And then that later that afternoon is when it like hit my face, where all of the stuff just kind of like suddenly just like fit together,
Agree. Can I go ahead and share the video of Erica over the casket?
Of course.
Now I want to remind everybody that supposedly Erica is mic'd up in this video footage. Why would you be mic'd up for that? And that only helps this theory even more, because it's one thing to say, oh, she's just trying to get sympathy from people. Well, that's what the video is for. It's still strange. Why are you micing yourself up? Yep. You're going over the top, to me, to convince us of something.
To sell it. Yep. Do you did you share your
Yeah, the video is down there. There it is.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Also note in this video, we never see Charlie's face. And why is that important? This is a very, 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 very big point. This will be one of the biggest points to make. We know that Charlie and Erica never showed their children's faces because, quote unquote, they wanted to protect them from the world. Okay, fine. I have my other suspicions about that, but we won't get into that here. But this is what I will say. Everybody knew what Charlie looked like. It's not going to change what you're showing in the video. You're already showing his body. Why aren't y'all showing his face? Let me go a step further. They are alleging that a 30-06 did not blow his head off, did not blow his neck off. They're saying that he had a neck of steel. He was the man of steel.
Superman bones.
Superman bones. Why is this important, Didi? It's important because that means that whatever Charlie looks like, especially after being embalmed and all the things, he should be extremely presentable. There shouldn't be anything too graphic about Charlie because, as we saw, the damage wasn't that bad externally. Why didn't you show Charlie's face? Why didn't you show his head? At least part of it. Why didn't you do that? You only show hands and you expect us to believe and assume this is Charlie. No, I do not believe this is Charlie. Show me his face. When you couple that with the fact that there's no body, there's no burial. Oh no. Oh, absolutely not.
And it was presented. This was like 48 hours or something like that after, right? Like this was like, I remember someone who is in that business, of body preparation or whatever, said that this was insanely fast to be able to present someone like that.
Exactly.
I love you. I love you. God bless you.
I do not believe that that's Charlie Kirk. I don't. I will say that the fingers look a lot like him. I'll give you that. Even in this photo, you can't see any part of Charlie's face. Let me go back. You can't see any part of Charlie here. Like, just give me some reason to know, or not even me. You don't have to prove anything to me. What about the employees? What about the people that donated to TPUSA? Had some sort of financial incentive? I'm not convinced. How did this happen so fast? To your point, Jesse, the guy was like, all of this happened right away.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll tell you, like Baron did show.
You already have a casket. Everything's lined up already. You booked the memorial. The building for the memorial was booked like within. Everything was put together in 11 days. How'd you do all of that so fast if all of this stuff wasn't booked already?
Yep. But yeah, Baron did show me one thing. When like he was
Just
showing
now?
me how it appeared that there were burns on his hands, like the day of, and then he showed me that it appears like there are the same burns on whatever this is. So I don't know. I mean, again, like I just want to be intellect. Like I just want to make sure
you want to be honest. You want to be honest for sure. And if that's present, absolutely, let's do it. Let's look for it.
Yeah.
Oh, right there at the very top of the screen.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I still couldn't make heads or tails of what those burns were in the video. When we were looking at it, I'd never seen them before. Because like I said, the stuff from the day of I didn't look super close at any of it because all I needed to know for my own evaluation is that it is possible for them to make it look like that. And that's all I needed to know because I just evaluate things more on would a person do this? What, you know what I mean? Why? What does the behavior indicate?
For sure. I agree. Okay.
So I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'm going to leave you out. Do you have anything you want to show? And I'll be literally right back. And then I want to go through that bullet point item that you had up because that's so thorough.
Perfect. I'll just wait until you get back.
All right. You entertain the peeps, my dude.
I got you. This is what I will say once again. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Those on Jesse's end, if you are not familiar with me and this is your first time, this may not be the best topic. That is to say, for those of you that believe that Charlie is deceased, you may feel like this is some people say it's about money and it's about, no, I don't have to. I can make videos about other things surrounding this topic. It's not about money. As a matter of fact, people are typically turned off the more radical you become. It's just me looking at what's happened. And I'm saying, do we have proof of these things that he's not here anymore? Right? please believe me, we're on the same side as it pertains to something happening that they're like a cover up, some sort of cover up. I would definitely say that. But if you like this sort of ordeal, please feel free to give me a follow at DDGotaPodcast. That's where you can find me. I am also a little bit more active on Twitter as well. So that'll be super dope. Appreciate the opportunity for being here. But I am curious what you all have to say. How do you reconcile some of these things? Just too many young people behaving unfazed. I just refuse to reject common sense. And I mean that respectfully. Like, common sense does not say if I'm going from one logical point to the next, it does not lead me to believe that they just betrayed them. I just, all these young people, no, I'm struggling to see it. That's all I'm saying. I'm struggling to see it.
Agree. Actually, let's do a few super chats.
Perfect.
And then we're gonna look at, so Didi, for those of you who didn't hear this earlier, made a post maybe like a month ago that itemized every single piece of evidence that indicated that it's a hoax. And I went through it. It's extremely thorough and really, really well done. So we can go through each piece. This is one of yours.
Literally, thank you for the $5. Literally, the only evidence we have, Charlie, was pow is the video of the hit. Still no gun, still no shooter, no burial site, nothing. We have what they alleged, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, finger. I'm sorry. I don't know. What
I'm learning too. I don't know. Thank you for the $5. I think something went wrong in the SUV. Large amounts of blood burnt, shirt remnants of an exploded mic. Frank Turek having to change his clothes. I would like to know what you think about that. I was going to ask you because some of my audience saw that I was going to be going live with you. They said, well, Didi and Jesse are going to have to answer for or reconcile for the shreds of glass or road mic in the bottom of the SUV, same SUV that they scrub clean, and then the burnt marks that Baron shared. I'll let you go first, and I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah, the burnt marks that we were talking, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. I think that there's I mean, again, I don't deal in certainty ever. The only part of the Candace and Andrew Wilson debate where Candace said something where I was like, eesh, was when they said, what percentage would you say Tyler Robinson is? She said 0%. If she said 1%, I'd have been like, okay. I just don't like certainty in general. And I'm open to all ideas, generally speaking. And so when I say like that whole thing about the car, it's like, okay, I'm open to it having been an exploding mic. But when I look at it, this is my just general opinion, is if you look at the shards of glass and whatever else is in the car, and you did not have a guide who was presenting this to you and saying, here's what this means, I don't think anyone comes up with shards of glass somehow means exploding mic killed Charlie Kirk. Like because I am immune to that kind of thing. Like if someone says it, whatever, if it makes sense to me, then I'll go, okay. But if it doesn't make sense, I'm not easily convinced of that stuff. And I'm just looking at I don't know. Like I have trouble understanding how that would indicate exploding mic. Doesn't mean it's not an exploding mic. I just don't understand how that evidence would indicate that. And the thing on the burning thing on the hands, I think maybe that they had the contraption that was going to tase Charlie at the time that he was shot to make it mimic that his body seized up. And then maybe, who knows, that could have caused something. I don't know.
Yeah, let me first start by saying a very good question. I do like pushback because again, I'm not 100% sold on it. I'm just stating that based on what's been provided, this is a very compelling theory that Charlie may not be deceased. However, I do like the critical questions because we're just trying to get to the truth.
Same.
Now, I agree with Jesse on the first point as it pertains to the burn marks. I don't know how to explain that. I do not know how to explain it. But I would like to talk about the shreds of glass or the pieces of glass in the bottom of the SUV that only Candace had access to these photos. I told Jesse this offline a couple of days ago on the phone. Let's actually entertain this theory that it was an exploding mic that pow Charlie. If we're thinking logically, though, wouldn't we expect the shreds of microphones, whatever's left of it, to have either fell out of Charlie's shirt right where he was sitting, or at least majority of it, because the mic is only so big. Majority of it at least would have fell out of his shirt on the way to the SUV. You say, well, they were carrying him and he was like laying flat. Well, he wasn't exactly flat. They weren't exactly carrying him the nicest way. I'll put it that way. What am I getting at? So therefore, how was there so much of the Rode microphone available to be left in the bottom of the SUV by the time he made it there? I think most of it would have fell out before.
Yep, I agree with that.
So yeah.
Next one is please chat, please be respectful. Thank you, son of Amherst Project. That's one of my mods and one of my peeps. That's a day oneer right there. Thank you, dude. They just happened to know to carry Charlie off right when George Zinn pulled his little stunt. What a coincidence. Yeah, the whole George Zinn thing is just like, yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Good. This is yours.
Thank you for the $5. Same thing that happened at Butler, which was absolutely staged. They legit moved to get the photo op. Same thing happened. And Jesse, you and I can discuss it. The Butler thing, I would love to discuss that with you another time.
Yeah, man.
We have to do
sure.
it.
Listen, to be intellectually honest, I went and watched a couple of the videos that people had done that were saying that Butler was staged because I covered that. So my YouTube evolution story was I did nothing but combat sports for the first until Butler. I did UFC and then stuff that was like around UFC. Then I covered the Butler assassination and I gained 200,000 subscribers in 9 days. Doubled my viewership. Yeah, because when Butler happened, because obviously if you look around at you could tell people's views are limited. You can't even Candace, whatever. The point being is people kind of, you max out. And YouTube clearly had limits that were being hit on the Trump topic. And so when the Butler thing happened, so many people were searching for videos on it that they were coming up with no search results because the limits were so they had to take all the limits off for this temporary moment. Right. And my video that I did on it, I was in Mexico. I did a video. I went up to my room. I was in a Cabo resort. I put the video up, went back downstairs. An hour later, I was in the hot tub and it had 900,000 views. I literally almost dropped my phone into the hot tub. I was like, the biggest video I'd ever done was 500,000 views and it had 900,000 in the first hour. I was like,
wait, what?
Yeah. I thought it was broken. And I had gained, from that, at that moment, I'd gained like 35,000 new
subscribers. What was your opinion of the situation in the video? What
I was just talking about how do you explain that he had no security cover? You're telling me that the Secret Service wasn't covering a rooftop elevated position that had a perfect line of sight at where he's standing. How is it, so is that type of thing was questioning how this could have happened if it wasn't a setup to kill him.
Right.
Then I did a live stream that night. And I had 24,000 concurrent viewers. And so between that end, the first one ended up doing 1.7. The live stream ended up doing like 2.5. I got 4 million views in a day. And then I had another video that did 3.7 million views on that topic. And so I went from having
just like that. I'm a YouTuber.
I had 185,000 subscribers at the beginning to 385,000. And they're a completely different audience. So it was really exciting. And then also very confusing how I was going to manage my channel after that. But yeah, on the Butler thing, when I came back to revisit it, when I was looking at this case, I'm like, I looked at a couple of videos of people who were saying it's a hoax. And I'm like, I don't know, man. The thing about the flag coming down, them ushering the guys around, it looks kind of weird, but I'm way more convinced by this case than that one for sure.
Okay.
At least so far. But yeah, I would love, dude, run me through it, man.
Perfect.
This one's yours.
Thank you for the $2. I love this channel, but am shadow banned in chat.
Doesn't seem so. I don't think. Who will lead the revolution and how do you suppose surveillance state entities will react? Space Command, CIA. Not me. I don't even say the word that I just said out loud that you tricked me into reading. This one's yours.
Thank you for the $20. I did a video on the UVU Blake vid. The quote unquote gunshot is fake. No other video taken that day has gunshot audio in it. Only the UVU video, all witnesses say they heard a firecracker sound. Whatever happened, the UVU was in on it. That's very interesting.
I have a lot of videos that have that gunshot in it, and I'll tell you the reason that I know that that's the fact is because every single one of them got demonetized. It's like all the different angles. It's like the gunshot itself, I think, is what would cause YouTube to demonetize the video. So like there's all, the kids are on the side, they're getting in it, they're talking and then they turn, whatever. Again, there's a whole Algus has that theory where he thinks that the shot went into the trunk of the SUV or whatever.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Yeah, me too. What do you think about that theory?
I think it's very compelling. And I think it just buys into, I don't think, here's the thing, because I kind of get it mixed up, because I also interviewed a guy called We Are Not Going to Mars, I believe it's called. He believes that there were 3 shooters, 3 distractions. I'm gonna mess it up. He calls it the 3-2-2 theory. 2 patsies. He believes Charlie got hit twice. He actually believes Charlie was shot. But anyways, I don't want to mix the two in their opinions, but I believe that it's very compelling that something was shot into the trunk so that there can be a sound. But again, that does not disprove the theory that we're saying. In fact,
no, it would support it.
It would support it. Yeah. Wait, because I actually forgot this. He believes the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's right. He believes what we believe. I forgot about that. That's right.
And he thinks that that's the shot. What they shot a real round and they shot it in the SUV. Again,
how would they explain the SUV being there with the trunk open? What is it there for? Why is the trunk open? And then afterwards, you let the trunk down.
Yeah.
What was that about? Can anybody explain that to us? Those that are giving pushback to Charlie potentially being alive, which I understand the pushback. Can you explain that part?
I thought, and for the record, I haven't said this on this stream. I thought that this theory was the stupidest flat earth nonsense ever when I first heard it for months. And it wasn't until each thing that came through algorithm, it's like, well, I guess that would explain it. Anyway, but with when Algus, I did my interview with him, that was before I was convinced at all that this is real, but he went through it. And I, the reason that I don't have an opinion one way or the other is because I don't understand the physics behind his explanation. So, the reason he's so confident is based in science that I don't understand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you try to be intellectually honest about the reasons you support things. Right.
Correct.
For sure.
A Barnes, how much money do you make as a podcaster? It completely depends on the size of your audience, demographics, so on and so forth, what platforms you're on, all that.
And what topics you cover, by the way.
Yes, that very much so. That's why when I
can get 50,000 views.
That's why I chose this.
Right. You can right. You can get 50,000 views on a cooking video, and you can get 50,000 views on a quote unquote conspiracy video, and one is going to make significantly more money than the other.
Yep. This one's yours.
Thank you for the $5. Please look up QBark. Psychological warfare. QBark is being performed on all of us. Please research QBark. Okay. Did TF put card in phone? I don't know what he did with it. Terrell Farnsworth. I don't know what he was doing with it. I think he just placed it in his pocket.
Yeah, from the clip that Candace played last night that we showed at the beginning, it looks like he put it in his zip-up pocket.
Right.
The Ridge Grad, thank you very much for the $10. Oh, I'm sorry. That was yours, but still.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for giving Dee $10.
Yeah, for sure.
Woofy, Candace and Barron totally ignore all of this. That's not accurate. Because where I found the majority of the weird stuff that I've covered from the day of, I got from Candace's show.
What they mean is
they
ignore Charlie being alive. That theory.
Yeah. But
the evidence itself, they support the evidence, but they come to a different conclusion. So what this person is saying is they are not entertaining the possibility of Charlie being alive, which I don't know if that to be true with Barron. I haven't really watched his show like that. Love what he does though. It's just I don't have time to watch the longer lives. So yeah.
No, Barron's my boy. He entertains it. He doesn't think he's alive though. Like he has entertained it. We've had a million conversations about this. He's not on board with the theory. But I've had very interesting conversations with him about it, and he gives me interesting pushback. As far as Candace goes, I think that given her emotional proximity to this crime, I give her a very wide berth on what she thinks about it. Also, because she knows these people, it's like I'm not in a position to. I've never questioned her motives. I'll just say it like that. I don't question her motives, and I haven't ever, and I still don't. This one's yours.
Thank you for the $5. Didi, would you consider asking to debate Candace on this theory? I think both your points are valid, and your debating skills would be perfect. I would love to have the conversation. To be honest with you, I don't think it would be very productive, and I don't think that she would accept the debate. I'm going to tell you why I don't believe it'll be productive. Yes, do I believe if a much larger audience, or we had access to a much larger audience to sort of present this theory to, would it change the minds of many people? I do believe that. But here's the question, then what? What I mean by that is I believe that that'll be Candace's mindset, because I just think, to Jesse's point, Candace had a relationship with Charlie. And if Candace is to entertain the possibility that Charlie is alive, remember, she just had a debate. And in the entire debate with Andrew, she never talked about the behavior of people. What am I getting at? Candace, if she can 100% prove the absolutes, like the reason a person is behaving a way, so to speak, then I think she'll just avoid it for now until she has absolute proof. So I think having a conversation with another creator, if I'm Candace Owens, I'll think, oh, they only want to have this conversation to sort of grow some sort of audience from it. Otherwise, why talk about it if you don't have proof of it?
Yeah. And I'll piggybacking on that. I would definitely not debate Candace on it, because that would feel extraordinarily disrespectful to me to I would have a conversation with her about it for sure. And I would be very kind of
correct. Debating her on this
very
different.
Look, this is why I think it and whatever. But in a debate confrontational format, I would never do that with anybody who has a long-term personal relationship with the person. I would never do that, ever.
I agree.
Yeah.
Conversation, I'd be open to it for sure, but not a debate. I wouldn't debate her.
Yeah. This one's yours too.
Thank you for the $2. She wouldn't ask that of him, even just discussion.
Okay. Daniel on site. What's up, man? Thank you very much. This is Bohemian Grove member party government that I know personally. All government demands your income stay poor, under control by Fed media controlled content. Humans are minions. That has certainly been the case for a very long period of time. And I am one of these people that thinks that 10 years from this moment right now is going to look so different that people still, they can't reconcile it yet. I don't think I really can fully reconcile it. I just know there is nothing that will surprise me about how different things are going to be in 10 years due to artificial intelligence. Milo said Charlie was gay. I have not seen that. Really? I've never.
Milo said, I don't know if he said this exact sentence, but I know he's called many other people at TPUSA. He's alluded to the men gay, but I do know that I believe he was asked the question, I believe on Timcast, about Charlie, and somewhere else. He did say something similar to that.
Charlie, if Charlie didn't love Erica, he did a great job fooling me in those videos that I looked at with him and her. This one's yours.
Thank you for the $2. Don't forget Tim Pool's place got piled up the next day.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember, but
that was very distracting. That was a very distracting news cycle. But I'm doing Timcast September 1st, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to throw anything like that out when you know what I mean. I like going in place like, "Hi, how are you?" Not like, "Hey, remember when you."
You're right.
I don't want to make accusations.
Gina, thank you for the $2. Bread and circus has worked for millennials. I agree. Totally agree.
Yep. CK closed his eyes. He knew it was going to happen. That is, I agree with that assessment. My opinion, it appears that he braces for it. It looks like he's practiced many times and tried as hard as he could not to brace for it, and he still braced for it.
And I'm going to be the voice of reason here, because there are going to be people that want to give pushback in the comment section and people that are going to watch this after the fact and want to give pushback. So I'll make the statement for you. What they're going to say is, if you slow the video down, slow enough, is going to appear that way. But in real time, what's really happening is that the projectile is hitting Charlie so fast that he has been hit quicker than we can realize in the video footage when it's slowed down to a certain speed. So I understand that pushback. So on this one, I'm going to state this. I totally understand and see why people say it appears that he braced for it. So I am in the middle with it.
Yep. English 65 age woman agrees with you. Odd reactions. Yep. And Sean, thank you for the super chat. Abe found a word on evidence from the back of the seat. I'm not sure what that means. That's yours.
Thank you for $2, Gina. Harvesting all of our negative energy. Also, absolutely, totally agree.
Saw on Lauren X Playboy with Dog Willa podcast that CK was froze place in Arizona. Does this podcast that CK was froze place? Okay. By the way, if you're talking about Lauren Pietra, I think an important distinction is she was the chief marketing officer at Playboy, not a Playboy model. But you wouldn't know that by looking at her because she's a 10. But she's like a chief marketing officer, not yeah.
But this person is saying that on a podcast that Charlie Kirk was froze, and the place is in Arizona that does the service.
Was froze?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's what his body is doing? Like they put him on ice?
I guess.
Interesting. The scope rings of Tyler's rifle are interesting. Oh yeah, the rifle, dude. We never even got into that, but we will if we have time. But we have a lot of super chats to get caught up on. But I want to go through. We're gonna do maybe like 10 more, and then we're gonna go through this bullet points, and then we'll get to all of the rest of them. Stephanie, thank you very much. One problem with the theory of CK being alive is that you're not accounting for him being a faithful servant. He would never choose prosecution in the afterlife over prosecution in the physical world. Prosecution. Do you understand the question, Didi?
One problem with the theory of Charlie Kirk being alive is that you're not accounting for him being a faithful servant. He would never choose prosecution in the afterlife over. So I guess this person is claiming that Charlie would not fake his death because it would be a sin to sort of fool the world this way, and he would be persecuted by God. But yeah, like that. But that's a forgivable
versus him doing
sin,
it to avoid being sent to prison, I think is what she means. Now I understand, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I understand where they're coming from, but see, this I don't have time today, and not only do I not have time, but even if I did have time, this is not the conversation I want to talk about Freemasonry and all the things, because we haven't even gotten into, which I've done. I'll link that in the description as well. My Charlie Kirk is Alive video that I did. I've done like 3 or 4 of them. The most recent one is the one I'll link in the description, where I speak about all the people that were around Charlie that were either Mormons, including Terrell Farnsworth, and Mormonism, or the Church of Latter-day Saints, for those of you that don't know, is literally birthed in Freemasonry. Joseph Smith was a Freemason, and you're going to have to just miss me to tell me that Charlie didn't know these things, and he bragged about Mormonism. He had his critiques of it. I'm not going to discredit Charlie, allowing him in his position. He was critical of them, and he was honest with them, but he also admired many things about them. And for me, when Charlie was directly asked about Freemasonry, we can all agree here on this. Charlie was extremely brilliant, right? We all believe that he most likely not only could have been president, but would have become president. J.D. Vance would not have beat out Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. He would not have beat out, he would have beat J.D. Vance. Marco Rubio would not have beat out Charlie Kirk. Not honestly. I do not believe that. So if we can all agree that Charlie Kirk is brilliant and he was very well versed and educated on a plethora of different topics, I'm gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle to convince me that Charlie Kirk was not familiar with Freemasonry, except when he was asked about it on camera, he pretended that he didn't know anything about it. And I think that was very dishonest of him, because this country was founded on Freemasonry. That's why we call it the land of the free. It's the land of the Freemasons, and there's a whole book on it. And so because we're not going to talk about that, because I don't want to give people too much of it now, because they'll start to call you conspiracy theorists when you talk about factual things like this. So we can deal with the occult in a different conversation when it comes to this Charlie Kirk angle.
The other thing too is in response to the super chat, I think that one of the primary motives of this entire thing is that these guys believe that they were fighting against a group on the other side that are just straight up demons, that are absolutely trying to destroy the United States and the Western world on purpose. And I do agree with them that is exactly what we're up against on that side. And I could give you a million examples. And I'm not talking about Freemasonry. I'm talking about stone like I can present it from the business perspective that this is about top-down control,
right?
Globalism, and them wanting to control as many people as possible and centralizing power with themselves, which obviously manifests in the form of evil, because who does that? You know what I mean?
Right.
But so I think that the motivation behind him doing it is anyway, but yeah. Love you both. Truth for Charlie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gina, for the $5. I just remember seeing a video where they're putting him in SUV. He lifts his head. Did anyone else see that? I covered that months ago. It does appear that Charlie lifted his head, but I'm going to be responsible here and say that it's been months since I've reacted to that video. And so I have to go and find it again so that people can make their own assessment on what they believe.
I have not seen that.
Yep.
This one's yours.
Thank you for the $5. SD card, yes. And the mic pack would have the audio recorder internally as well. And Jesse, that is a tube under his shirt, not a lav mic wire.
Oh, that if you go watch my Manufactured Martyr series, I agree.
Yeah.
Gigaspud, thank you for the super chat.
It would explain the puff out and why there's no flare, no flyer, no flash, no nothing, no hole through the shirt. That would better explain than an exploding mic. If something explodes under your shirt and it's a device and it's a white shirt, we're not going to see it immediately. Something.
Yep. Agree. Kelly Raybon, what's up, dude? You guys, Kelly Raybon is she's her own independent creator. She also partners with Jordan Henshaw. We talked about them earlier. They're doing an award show for this investigation tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I think Central, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we need a big fake death group collab. I'm down for that.
Same.
As long
so
as
Jordan's position is that Charlie faked it.
Oh yeah, Kelly and Jordan Henshaw. Yeah.
Now I knew I'm familiar with Jordan and I'm familiar with his mock-up of what it would look like, but I thought he was just entertaining that for people who may have believed it. I didn't know that was his position, his official position.
His position. Yeah.
I would love to talk with them.
Yep. Yeah, I had Kelly and Jordan on, and that stream did bananas numbers. Like really good. Really good
Heck
numbers.
Yeah.
Watch ADN's video on EMPs. Crazy stuff. Yep, I will do that. And Snake Baby says Candace episode 256 is when she speaks on the people emailing her. They think Charlie's still alive.
256.
Let me write that down for sure. And just real quick, in case anybody that has not seen me talk about this yet, about her Andrew Wilson debate. Actually, let me ask, how many times have you watched the scene when the scene when he doesn't know any of the charges? Stop watching a lot, dude.
So many.
I watched it a lot.
She let it marinate. She let him marinate. He just dug his own hole. He was like, it looks like you don't know any of them. And I was like, bro, you didn't know a single one, and you're gonna now berate her about it? Like, dude, you want to show some humility here, bro? Because even if she just knows 3 of them, you're cooked.
She
knew all 7 in order,
and of course she knows them.
Of course she knows them.
I was watching that, just going, I could literally tell you not only the charges, but exactly why he's charged with each one. The aggravated murder one is obvious. The witness tampering and the obstruction of justice are all related to instructions that he gave to Lance Twiggs to not talk to cops and to burn the evidence, all of that stuff. Right. And then they just, it was, I can't believe that he thought she wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. Now, I do want to say I have like maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, total?
Total.
Okay, here.
I have an appointment at 3 o'clock.
All good, dude. Yeah. Okay. Let's put up your bullet points, and
let's freaking do it.
And then I will. Okay.
All righty. So this was posted. Shoot, I don't got the date there. A month ago. So I says, and I say, let me zoom in here. I say, for TPUSA to have had nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk event, notice I call it the event, all of these would have to be pure coincidences. Number 1, no ambulance was present at UVU. UVU told Charlie's team they could not secure the location and recommended moving the event. Charlie's team insisted it stay in the same spot. UVU was booked on extremely short notice, an anomaly for events that are normally scheduled far in advance. None of Charlie's security team drew their weapons after he was pow.
One thing, I did see a video, and one guy actually draws. I was going to say that earlier. One guy draws his weapon, then puts it right back. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The guy that was crouched down behind the table.
Yeah.
I didn't know he officially pulled it all the way out. I thought he just reached for it. I thought it was still strange.
Back, but yeah.
Oh, okay. In addition, Charlie's security team carried him to the SUV like a worthless sack of potatoes. Charlie wore a white shirt for the first time to quote unquote make the bullet wound and red liquid appear obvious. And that's been proven that was very, very rare, if ever, Charlie wore white shirts to his events. Look it up.
It said freedom on it too.
And it had freedom on it.
He wanted freedom from his,
Yes, look it up. And we're not just spewing this. Most of Charlie's debates in public events, he always had a dark color on, always. So that was very unique about this one. In addition, with the stage, them raising everything up and the heightened level of everything behind the table.
Yep.
Charlie's Rode mic was mounted with the microphone next to his chest instead of the magnet. No one on Charlie's team called 911. Still can't get over that.
That's a crazy fact.
Insanity. Charlie's security waved off first responders.
I've heard that's true, but if that's true, that's insane.
Yes. Charlie's security waved off first responders, loaded him into the SUV without securing the wound, and allowed him to allegedly bleed out. Yeah. No one on Charlie's team ever mentioned the Rode mic shattering. Frank Turek and Brian Harpo gave conflicting accounts of what happened inside the SUV. Charlie's Rode mic, phone, shirt, pants, and necklace were never turned over to the police as evidence. What are we talking about? Governor Cox and FBI Director Patel ordered the immediate excavation of the 20 by 20 area where Charlie was seated, followed by emergency paver installation before the site was released to the public. And for those of you that may not understand how that could fit this theory, because you'll say, well, they wanted to cover up. Well, if that was not real red liquid that came out of Charlie, they know that people are going to go to the area and test it. So how do you do that? You not only pave over it, but you dig up the ground well before that point. Why would you have to do all of that? What are you hiding from us?
Yep.
Security team and other TPUSA personnel allegedly got rid of their clothes. TPUSA sent the car to auction ASAP. That is also,
I think it went to Ukraine or something, right?
Yeah, some crazy. I think it was shipped to California. I don't know where it went after that.
It was something weird though. Yeah, someone sent me.
Yeah, the Discord messages they say Tyler Robinson sent as a confession were sent after he was Mirandized. Brian Harpo or anybody never booked security for the next day's event. He also didn't have travel plans either, as if they knew Charlie Kirk wouldn't be available. What?
Whoops.
USA, USA, USA guy starts chanting as a distraction while security is behind the table, quote unquote, dealing with Charlie. George Zinn drops his pants as a distraction just as Charlie is being moved to the car. Security detail appears to have brought their own crime scene tape to secure the area. Terrell Farnsworth, quote unquote, secured the SD card footage behind Charlie's head and left the expensive cameras. SD cards also were not given over as evidence. The footage was, but the SD cards were not themselves, not the original footage from our understanding. CCTV footage reportedly removed from the hospital. Surgeon reportedly at some point blocked from access to Charlie. Mikey McCoy and Blake Neff immediately walks away before even seeing what happened to Charlie. Mikey never runs, ducks for cover, or panics. He remains calmly on the phone. Several people were recording themselves. What would you be doing that for after the fact? That's strange. Erica immediately got Charlie's phone and lied about what was on it. The Tennessee ammo plant was blown to smithereens not long after, therefore destroying potential evidence. Let me know what I left out.
Yep. And again, that doesn't even get into all of the stuff that happened afterwards. That's just the day of. And now we also know that
which, by the way, let's just real quick, all the stuff that's happened afterwards, let's not just blow past it like that's not a big deal. That's a really big deal, because when you factor all of those things up with everything that's been discussed today, it's just like,
Yep. But even the day of, they said that a screwdriver was up there with his DNA on it, And then they forgot about that part of the story when they released the footage of him running across the roof. And so did all of us. Because everyone's like, wait, there's no rifle. So like that took over the analysis. There's no rifle, man. There's no rifle. And then it wasn't until I literally remembered that yesterday. I was like, yeah. And they said that he assembled the rifle. They put the video out. Where does he I can't even see a rifle, much less him assembling a rifle.
So that's good reason to believe that whatever happened or didn't happen to Charlie didn't come from that roof.
Yep. And then I'm trying to think, oops. Oh, what did I just do? Oh man, I just lost somebody's super chat. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, I mean, that's again, okay, the stuff with Phil Lyman, where he has that video, Phil Lyman, the governor, candidate, where he's on video and they're like, hey, Phil, did you see what happened? And he goes,
he's like,
no. And then he code switches afterwards.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it was one of his homes that Ring camera caught Tyler Robinson walking up to.
Not only that entire block is owned by Phil Lyman's family. That entire block, they bought those properties. So, and not to mention the place where they allegedly found the gun, it's land owned by Palantir. What are we talking about here?
Has that been verified 100% that Palantir
I believe it's been verified.
Yeah, I heard the rumor, but I hadn't verified that. But I definitely, like the Phil Lyman one, that I did verify, at least through media. And they quoted Phil Lyman in an article that I read. He was talking about that.
Everything seems to be controlled environment is the point that's being made here.
Yep. All right, so we got a bunch of super chats to get to, so we're gonna kind of go through these, and then we could do another one of these. There's a lot more that we can
definitely
go through.
Please, let's do a part 2.
Yep, this one's yours.
All right, thank you for the $5, bro. Stop. What are you saying? What you are saying is that Charlie would let an innocent man go up for the death penalty. Absolutely insane. Think that. I am so happy. Let me address this really fast, and I'll try to make this quick. I don't know if this is Jesse's opinion. I'm speaking not for another man, not for another person. I'm speaking for Didi. The way patsies work, and I explained this on my channel, and so I don't know if this is your first time coming to my channel or not, this commenter, but this super chat person. Typically, how patsies work, if they are a part of some sort of conspiracy to go along with it, they are not actually put to death. If we are to believe that this is a hoax, what we think we're seeing is all theater. All right. And so I've talked about this with my Martin Luther King video, which I would highly recommend you all go and check out my Martin Luther King documentary. Martin Luther King did a lot of great work, but he was an agent. The people that were backing him had agendas. The civil rights movement had very little to do about black people and segregation and all those things. It had very little to do with it. It was a Trojan horse. What am I getting at here? When you have these quote unquote patsies or people who we believe to be patsies, you think they're going to be put to death. It's not what's going to actually happen. It's what they're going to put out in the media. And so that's what I'll share in short, but I've gotten extensively into this other times.
So my answer to the Tyler Robinson thing is that I agree with you. Of course, like he's not going to let some innocent guy get the death penalty. I agree. Or go to prison for life. So yeah, that leaves two options for me, which is one, that Tyler's in on it and he agreed to do a year in prison and they've got it set to where he's going to get released, or he is one of these guys. And given everybody needs to understand, like, you have nothing secret in your device. Anything you're looking at, anything you're downloading, anything you're doing, believe me, if they want to know, like, you are being monitored all the time. So right. To anyone monitoring my shit, I got no shame in my game, son. No matter what kind of weird shit you're looking at, there's no way he'd own this. Oh, I fucking promise I'll own that, dude. Okay. And what that means for like dumbasses who are into twisted, demented stuff is, if you're looking for a patsy, why don't you just look for who's downloading, consistent terabytes of babies getting, dismembered on the dark web, stuff like that, where you're like, okay, this guy can go. Like, this is a person who deserves to die for consuming this. Even if he's never going to do anything in the physical world, the fact that he is seeking out content where little kids are getting raped or whatever, fucking bury him under the jail alive. Those are the two options that I think explain what would be going on there.
Great.
Snake Baby says, and by the way, if you got to go, just
5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know when you got a couple minutes, and then I'll let you give your outro and all that
Heck
stuff.
yeah.
And then I'll finish these. So C is the third letter of the alphabet, K, the 11th letter, 3 times 11, 33.
Let's just say like things like that. There are so many other things like numerology and all the things that, for the sake of this discussion with Jesse, we're not even going to get into it because we're going to be giving people an easy out to just say we're conspiracy theorists and we're just looking at numbers. So yeah.
Baron interview with M.E. and C with Charlie Kirk. Wait, M.E. instantly paralyzed. Then how is he grabbing table after? I think Candace knows and is pissed. Wait, what? Baron interview with M.E. about CK instantly I'm sorry. I can't make out what that question is. I apologize. I promise I want to answer it, but I don't know what it is. Okay.
I would like to say something. This is the perfect time to say something though.
On this one?
Yeah. So something else is very interesting, and I want you all to be able to confirm this for me because I have a meeting in 15 minutes, so I can't immediately look at it when this live stream ends. It appears to me that Charlie Kirk was picking up and dropping his microphone. He did it multiple times after every question that was asked to him, which I believe it was only like 2 or 3 people before Hunter, which is very strange for him to do. I don't think Charlie would typically pick up his microphone, set it down, pick up his microphone again. That seemed very intentional to me. And so I want you all, I'll cover that on my channel another time, but that was very interesting that Charlie was choosing to do that.
And you
seemed
know,
like a lot of unnecessary work. Is my point.
You know what would explain that too? Is if he knew there was about to be some kind of electric current going through his bodice and he didn't want to, you know, who knows? I mean, I don't know, but like I never thought about that before, but he was doing that. Oh, you found it. Okay, I found it. It's about 2 minutes. In the name of it is called Infiltration.
Charlie Kirk has been tracked for years.
Okay, that's a minute.
It's about 2 minutes in. Okay, I'll go and check it out.
And that's on that one
256, I think it was.
Yeah, I wrote it down. It was 256. 2 minutes in. Okay, I'm definitely good. Oh shit! I mean, I might actually just go check this out right now later. But thank you very much, Bailey. Thank you very much. El Diablo says AI is plagiarist. That's probably the reason why the Snake Eyes is so similar to the Pow Pow, is because they used AI to set the stage. I would, I don't know. I don't know how AI would do that, but maybe. I mean, honestly,
they're saying they used AI, the images, the videos that we saw.
But how would that reconcile Snake Eyes like Charles Kirkland on 910 and all that?
Well, I can't speak for them, but what I believe they're saying is what happened in the film, they made sure to whatever we saw on footage would line up, such as where he got hit in the neck.
Oh, okay. There's a lot more to it than just that, but yeah.
Agreed.
Candace did an episode on the burned thing in the car that CK was in. Several people contacted her to tell her it was a burned shirt, and she did the testing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw something.
But why would you burn his shirt? Because okay, I understand. They'll say, "Oh, because it was an exploding microphone." They don't want people to know, but the exploding microphone would have burned the shirt. Like I would imagine that would have burned the shirt itself. So I guess my short way to say this is, or respond to this, is to say, you can burn a shirt to hide evidence of the fact that something else happened to Charlie that you don't want people to find out, such as an exploding mic, or you can also burn the shirt because the fake red liquid that was on the shirt, you don't want anybody to ever find it.
Yeah, it could go, that for sure could go either way.
Right.
5-3-0 Mama Boys. What about his ring suspending in air before it falls off? How do you fake that? Well, that would be an AI mistake, I think is what that would be. Yeah, the ring suspending in air before it falls off would be bad doctoring of the video, I think. Also, she took his company in a different way. So no, she isn't doing anything as CK's proxy. Whoa. Let me see if I can show you something you might not be aware of. Because right now, if I head over to tpusa.com and I go, let's just see what the website says. And given that it is, it's the law that board members need to be disclosed publicly for nonprofits. If I was going to go, let's take a look at the team. Let's see, where's the team page? Because when we get to the board, guess who's on the board still? Our team. Here you go. Oh, oopsie. Still on the board per the website. Also, still on the board on the staff. Doesn't prove anything, but notable, I would say.
Yeah. All right. I gotta go.
All right, my man.
Let me say, Jesse, man, pleasure. We definitely have to do this, do a part 2, because we may have gotten through half the things. If
maybe
half. There are so many things that, again, I don't come to this conclusion or this theory simply to be different. I'm saying when I put all these things together collectively, I'm saying, if I'm being honest with myself, this is starting to paint another picture. When you consider other things that was happening around Charlie, I'm like, so, and a lot of those things Jesse has covered in his very extensive and impressive Charlie Kirk is Alive series on his channel. So those on my end, please give Jesse on Fire a follow. On Jesse's end, if you're interested in content like this, I do a lot of deep dives on YouTube and Patreon on a plethora of different topics, including Kobe Bryant and his death. I've just dropped the Kobe Bryant Sacrifice Chronicle series, part 2 on Patreon. So please check that out if you get a chance. This was a pleasure once again. And the last thing I want to say before I go, it was something I wanted to mention. I want to make sure, because I don't know how many people will come for a part 2. I wanted to mention the fact that, where is it at? The Charlie Kirk text message thing. They're trying to push this idea that Charlie Kirk sent a text message about the left, being afraid that the left was going to unalive him. As we all know, Andrew claims to have this text message, claims that he's going to drop this upcoming Friday. This is what's very important. First and foremost, I don't think that text message exists. I think if Andrew does supply us with any type of text message, I do believe that it'll be a fake one. He will not provide the original source, because we'll be able to get the metadata on that. But furthermore, Erica Kirk has already contradicted that statement months ago on camera, as we all know. But here's the biggest important piece that I want to leave you all with. Even if this text message existed, even if this text message is to be showcased, which should have been showcased a long time ago, by the way, you shouldn't have to come in good faith in order for them to reveal that. They would have been more than happy to debunk people. But here's what's important. Even if Charlie Kirk said this does not prove that Tyler Robinson did something to Charlie, right? Because this would mean that Charlie Kirk was afraid that Tyler Robinson was going to do it to him. Him being afraid of the left doesn't mean that the left actually did it. It doesn't. Is Charlie Kirk talking to the left when he's at home, where he's just randomly afraid of the left all of a sudden? No. Yes, they've been threatening Charlie Kirk over the years. Sure, they all get death threats. But that's completely different from knowing that the following day, Tyler Robinson was going to take you out. That's weird. He don't know Tyler Robinson. No. So that's what I want to leave you all with. I got to go. And Jesse, I mean it. I'll call you afterwards.
Yeah,
we definitely got to do a part 2.
Yeah, and text me a link to the debate. All right. So, and real quick, I was going to show you guys this, because this is interesting, because I was like, this actually shows like my evolution on this case. And it's crazy to look back at this too, because I forgot right before Charlie got killed, or killed or whatever, there was the thing in Minnesota where Vance Bolter killed those 2 state senators. And then it was like right after that, you had the Minnesota thing, which was right here. When the guy with the long hair, whose name is, I can't remember his name, but he was actually connected to one of the people from the initial Charlie stuff right there. This guy, this dude, this guy right there on the left, that dude was connected to other left-wing radicals. And when another left-wing radical named Sky Valdez was initially implicated in this case, because they had put up a song called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 3 weeks before he got killed, and also some other stuff, this guy had written a title of one of Sky Valdez's songs on one of his magazines, which is in the footage that I shared right there. But here you go. This is like right out of the gate. It's like, okay, so here's Charlie. When this Charlie stuff starts and you just keep going, this is all me covering the leftists that did this all the way. Like still, you know, this one right there. This is me connecting exactly what I was just talking about, all these leftists to it. Okay. And it's just, I mean, you could just see the evolution where like I was all in on that the leftists did this, you know, for a very, very, very long time. And there's just, I only bring it up because I'm trying to demonstrate there is nothing about me entertaining this theory that is like disingenuous. You know, like I'm not being disingenuous at all. I am being 100% serious when I go through this stuff. It is actually what I think is most likely to have happened. But also it's wishful thinking too, because I hope Charlie's alive. And also I prefer to be right in so much as that the people that were around Charlie Kirk genuinely do love him, and wouldn't participate in a thing like that, you know? Erica's leadership has single-handedly annihilated TPUSA and made that name more toxic than The View. Yeah, I don't know what they are. I don't know, man. I don't know where they go as it relates to that. Because man, when a brand goes bad, it's tough to recover from. Do you see a connection between Elizabeth Lane and Erica Kirk? Elizabeth Lane is Hout. Elizabeth Lane is smart also. And all I know is she has a very, very low opinion of Erica Kirk because I've talked to her about this many times. CK would never underestimate Candace Owens. Never. I totally agree with you. I 100%. I would. I 100% agree with you. That's why my hypothesis as it relates to Candace's, you know, kind of being anywhere near this is that in the event that the hoax theory is correct and Candace was on the outside, it could only be due to some factor that was not like, it was irreconcilable. It was like, we can't do this without these people. These people will not work with her under any circumstances. That's the only way that I could see that being the case if she's not involved. But you know, what do I know? It's hard to show grieving when there's nothing to grieve. Exactly. Everyone close to him and the lack of emotion says it was faked due to real threats. Yep. That's my opinion. Fuzzy Balls. Charlie's not running TPUSA. He wouldn't have made 90% of the decisions that have been made, including sucking up to Ben Shapiro, who Charlie loathed. And he would have he wouldn't have gone after Candace. So that is a very multi-level thing to respond to. And thank you again, Fuzzy, for this super chat. Okay, so number one is I don't see anywhere where they were sucking up to Ben Shapiro. The fact that Ben Shapiro spoke first at AmFest is the opposite of sucking up to him, because what it lets him do is he goes up there, says his thing, and then they let everyone respond to him. Okay, and then also Candace let us know that Ben was paying a fortune for that spot. Like he's paying. And and when he first did it, they felt obligated to reach out to Candace and tell her that they were paying. And I'll tell you this too. If anybody loves Candace's content and has not watched her episode where she went full throttle on Ben Shapiro after it's number 283. It's this one right here. Little Benny's breakdown. Dude, that is probably in the ballpark of the single best hour of like person standing in front of a camera content that it is merciless. Shit, that's the episode she did right after Ben did AmFest and then spoke about Tucker and whatever. And she finally was like, you could just tell, like, she's like, I've been quiet for as long as I'm going to be quiet, because she was trying to protect herself legally. And she just took the gloves off and just absolutely stuck her lady cock down his throat so far that it hit his stomach. Like she absolutely demolishes him in that episode. It's amazing. I've sent it to all of my friends a million times. They still don't watch it because they would, for sure, they would text back like, "Oh my God, that was amazing," and they don't. I just like when people send stuff to each other, I just assume they're not going to watch it 90% of the time. But that one, everybody should definitely go watch. How is it possible the Simpsons have predicted so many events over the years? The CIA, military use remote viewing, time travel, not far-fetched. Time travel is possible per the physicists who talk about what they're doing at CERN, the particle collider. As it relates to the Simpsons, I am open to all options, including that everything we see is a script. That literally, like what the Charlie Kirk assassination was scripted out 2 decades ago in Charlie's cast. I have no idea what I'm looking at. All I know is that the world does not work the way that everybody thinks it does. Oh my God, that video of Erica saying, I love you, God bless you, just makes me sick. Her voice is cringe. Yes, we are very aligned on that. It's because if you're like in it, humans are naturally going to have the ability to like gauge other people that they don't know because it's a survival instinct. You don't know them. They might take, hurt your child, steal your food, do whatever. That's why and the way it manifests, you come into a room with a bunch of like-minded people who are dressed the same as you. And if you know 3 of them, you go to the people that you know, and you're kind of, over here with these people that you don't know. It's like a weird phenomenon if you think about it, but it's just an extension of our survival instincts, which is to be skeptical of people that we don't know. And then the way that you kind of start to gauge whether or not you're going to trust them is by watching them and how they behave, according to the stimulus that's around them. And so all of us have that ability to different degrees. And so when there's something so extreme, like, oh, this is a wife who is reacting to her dead husband who just was murdered, and here is how she's reacting. When it's wrong, it is overwhelming how impacted people are who watch it, because it's like the ultimate example of, I know how she should be behaving and this is wrong, because that's how you gauge people to decide whether or not they're safe to be around. And I agree that video is crazy. It's just all wrong. Everything about it's all wrong. Axe, thank you very much. It's an op, malicious or benevolent, dead or alive. It's an op. I tend to agree with this, but again, it's my opinion. Paul Pearson, why do you think Candace won't entertain this theory? I don't even want to speculate on it, because I actually heard her say in an interview that there was a time when she felt like he was still alive, and then she realized that she was it was a stage of grief, which like the denial stage of grief, or whatever it is. And again, that's exactly why I never question anything that she says or does about this case. My instinct is that she's coming from the right place. Charlie is not like some guy that she watched on the internet. Very, very close, very, very close friend. But I mean, she doesn't owe me or anybody else an explanation, but I think that's probably why. After Candace met with Erica, her demeanor completely changed and she didn't seem sad. Agree. Then that's when I started thinking he was still alive. Is it possible to FOIA his death certificate? So that's interesting, and I've considered that as well. But if that is the case, then what that would mean is that Charlie, Erica, and the surrounding are knowingly and willingly taking the public attacks, which again, I don't think we'll ever know. But if that is the case, I would like to say publicly to any of them that that's the most gangster shit in the history of the world that I am aware of. If Erica, a girl, volunteered to be the villain and the target of all of this because there's a greater purpose to all of this that we're not aware of, and she said, I'll take those hits, that is fucking gangster. On a level I would have, yeah. But again, there's no way to know. I mean, it also just could be that they met, they gave Candace good answers, and so she's like, okay, they're good. And then it wasn't until the things that she was told turned out to be lies that then she flipped on them, and it ended up being, That's why she's going to do, that's why she starts doing the Erica series, because she looked her straight in the face, told her this, told her this, told her this, and it turned out to be lies, which could easily be explained if the hoax theory is correct, that they can't tell the truth. They literally can't, because the truth is something they can't say. So as soon as you're lying and what people think they're investigating is a death, then what are they going to, of course, that's what they're going to think is behind it. No, the glass sticks. CO covered this. That's why they rolled up his shirt. You're talking about the in the vehicle, I assume. Again, even though she covered it, I still can't reconcile how sticky glass indicates exploding mic is how Charlie was killed. I don't know. Like, again, I watched it. I was just kind of like, all right, I didn't understand. I could have just not understood. No One Army. My opinion is it was supposed to be staged, unaliving, but it went wrong. Not an exploding mic. Something was compressed air, fake blood bladder. So actually people have said that to me who are in the film industry. Multiple people actually said that they thought that when they first watched it, it looked like a bad take. So I've heard that from two different people, two different groups. I heard it from two people who have a deep background in Hollywood. They said that it looked like a bad squib, like it had gone wrong, to your point. And then I've heard it from a bunch of operators, like a bunch of, kind of like tier one guys who were like, that's not what that looks like. I've shot lots of guys. That is not what that looks like. I've never seen blood come out the way that did. The wrong color, all kinds of stuff. But again, I've never shot anybody that you know of. I'm just kidding. I've never shot anybody. So I have nothing to compare it to. I try to make sure that I'm trying to weight people's opinions as well as I can based on their credibility and their reason to lie or complete lack thereof, Corey Henry says, I love the way your mind works. That was meant for Didi. I agree. Very, very sharp gentleman. Sloped roofs, Dan Bongino's secret password. Sloped roofs. I forgot about that, dude. I forgot about that. Why didn't you have an agent up there? Well, the roof was sloped. Hello. What if Charlie is Candace's source? He found out TPUSA was sketchy and now secretly propping up Candace behind the scenes to F. That's totally plausible. Again, but that would fall into the exact same thing that I was just discussing. But yeah, that's completely possible, especially given that Charlie said in 2018 that he wasn't going to be around and Candace was going to lead a revolution that was going to save the country. And if you think about it, Candace told a story on her show where she said that Andrew Colvett and Charlie Kirk were in the room when Trump accepted I apologize if I'm butchering, this is not my story, but this is what Candace said on her show, that he accepted, I believe it was $200 million and gave a verbal guarantee to, a donor from the blue and white team. And he gave them a verbal guarantee that he was going to look the other way and allow them to annex the West Bank. And then once they left, Trump turned to Colvett and Charlie and said, I'm going to fuck them. Like he said, basically, I'm going to take their money, but I'm not actually going to do that. So I remember when that was probably, 4 or 5 months ago when she told that story. And I thought about that. And I thought about, first of all, how would she know about that? I believe she said that it was either Charlie or Andrew that told her. I think actually it might have been Charlie. She said Charlie, doesn't matter. But I thought about that and I was trying to think of what would be going through Charlie's mind if he if and when he witnessed a thing like that, where he's already, said that he's very concerned about that level of influence and what they're doing. And if he saw the president accept a bribe like that, or, allegedly accept a bribe and then make a guarantee like that, and then is like, I'm going to fuck them. It's like, what's Charlie going to do? Because again, I trust his morals, trust his principles. What's he going to do about that? Because he's not going to go at them directly. I don't really have an answer, but I don't know. You know, catching up 2X, salamander ear meets squib, possible later SUV takedown. Yep. Unless Erica has man hands, that's not Charlie. Charlie's hands would be bigger. Yeah, there's also there's like a picture or video of them, or it's actually a picture on, I believe, Erica's Instagram where he's holding hands. She's holding his pinky. Like he's just holding his hand out and she's holding his pinky. And it's funny because people all look, he didn't even love her. He's not even holding her hand back. I'm like, that's not what that means. That just is something that you do if the person that is holding your hand is much smaller than you. It's like I do that with my daughters, you know. And if I was that much bigger than Gabrielle, for sure, I would I would let her grab onto two of my fingers because it's like, come here, little tiny. That's Gabrielle's nickname, Tiny. Well, among other things. But so his hands were significantly bigger than hers for sure. You, Didi, Kelly, Jordan have been emailed pics of no freedom logo clearly on Charlie's white shirt on two different angles now after sound of shot. Also, one has no blood anywhere. Why hide this longer? I don't know. If you're saying you just emailed that to me, then I haven't seen it yet, but let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. But the only answer I could have is if you're talking about me hiding it. The only reason I would ever not show anything is because it's going to get the video demonetized. Why are the feds involved? Nobody crossed state lines. Yep, we talked about that at the beginning. What were they pocketing while Charlie laid by his chair? I say Charlie and the squib. That is certainly a probability that I have thought about. Candace ignores the theory because she's seen the behind footage. People forget about that. CK is dead. He would never betray God and fake his. I don't think that so my pushback on that would just be I don't think that if he did it for a purpose that is a benevolent one meant to help humanity, that he would think that was in any way betraying God. I think he would be the opposite. It would be a very selfless thing that he saw himself doing. Oops. Snake Eyes meets Minority Report and Eyes Wide Shut. They live Sundance Film Festival. Soon come to Boulder. Stage reality TV. Adelson Burnett. Yep. Milo said it about Charlie right after he said it about Benny on Timcast. In the clip that I put in my episode last night, I did not see that. I only saw the clip that I showed. Fuentes says their marriage was arranged. Oh, Charlie and Erica? I have no idea. I don't know how he would know that either, but where can I find your list of evidence? Well, he went through some of it, in this stream. I have an entire playlist called The Manufactured Martyr. I think Charlie's alive. I literally have like 10 episodes on this. If you watch the entire series and you're not convinced, I would be, not convinced. I'm not saying it's 100%, but like very convincing. Matt and Linda Carter, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very generous. Log Candace, but smells like psyop. Love Candace, I assume, but smells like psyop. Elephant in the room. CK involved. Candace is involved for sure. Tent elevated on stools. Why? To sell shot and no one cries it live. Candace isn't crying. Stools visible in the footage. So like I don't know, man. I just think there's. So here's exactly how I would push back on just based on the points that you brought up in there. If it's staged, okay, and Candace is in on it, why would she bring up the fact that there is no blood in the video that she saw from behind and make such a serious point of that fact? Because if she's in on it and it's fake, she would be protecting that secret also. And her pointing out the fact that there's no blood from that angle, it, from my perspective, would be the opposite of protecting the secret. So that's all I look for is like, okay, how do I break the theory? And that's a big one that sticks out among many other things like that, where I look, I'm like, I don't think it could be that. First of all, I don't know if it is a hoax, but like, even if it is, there's a lot of things that would, make it hard to think that she would be involved in any way. Charlie's hands are small unless Erica has manhandled. Yeah, no, he definitely has much bigger hands than her. Security streaming to Frank Erica Shapiro. Security streaming to Frank Erica Shapiro. Oh, I bet you that Erica was probably on FaceTime if this is correct. Ben Shapiro, not. That one is I've explained this one many times. At least my hypothesis is like when Ben said my security team talked to Charlie's security team, that's totally easy to understand. Like these security guys are the tier 1 security guys, these guys that were real, like genuine special ops guys in tier 1 units. A lot of them know each other. And so Charlie gets shot. Everyone knows about it. One of the security guys who knows someone on Charlie's security team, them texting them like, hey, is he alive? Is he all right? And then them responding is not hard to believe and would not in any way indicate that Ben Shapiro is actually involved. Just indicates that someone on his security team knows someone on Charlie's security team. New video, the new video of the view from the roof is telling that the tent being too low to see Charlie Kirk from prone position. Yeah. That and the fact that there's that lip is also very important because, again, we've seen what they say is the footage of the shooter running across, and then it appears, he does that crawl, and then he appears to move back from the edge, and then he lays out the mat and then lays into prone. That lip, if that is the Losi building in the video that was posted a couple days ago, and that lip is there, and if that lip was also there on 910, I don't see how there's any explanation for that whatsoever that could explain it, WWE Rowdy Piper, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Jesse, love you. Didi, I've been watching since 9/12. This makes so much sense. Are they all Ted Bundy? I'm so confused. What about Barron? He's super smart, very dismissive of this. Why? I mean, because there's no guarantee that it's correct, And again, I like it. I don't know. I don't take it personally when people don't agree with the assessment at all. And Barron if I'm going to answer that, kind of objectively, Barron evaluates these things differently than I do. Barron's like, dude, his level of detail into the research that he covers is like well beyond what I do. And he also looks at things from a complete, I have yet to bring him some kind of piece of evidence that I knew about, even stuff that I thought only I knew about, where I brought it to him and he didn't already know. Like he knows everything. Like that guy literally has known everything. And I've had a lot of things that I thought were, when he got leaked the thing about the code and me having interacted with the FBI, that he obviously didn't know about until he got the video. But any specific piece of evidence that I think is unique, I bring it to him, and he knows about it. He's evaluated it, and he has an exam. He was extraordinarily thorough. Stacy, thank you very much. Great discussion. Maybe someone already mentioned this, but the microphone that Erica Kirk has had on display supposedly has blood on it. Couldn't that be tested to see if it's actual blood or fake blood? I mean, you would think so. I don't know how anyone would get that. I do know that, wait, has this been talked about publicly? Okay, so I think that this was talked about publicly, that someone offered Sean Ryan an artifact from this incident, like a bloody artifact from this incident. I'm pretty sure that this is public knowledge. I'm just going to leave it at that just in case it's not, because I can't remember. Yeah. But I found that extraordinarily weird, like super weird, that someone offered him like, oh, hey, do you want this from that day? The bloody whatever. And you're like, what? Like Sean Ryan's a combat veteran, man. He's not going to want an artifact that has someone's blood on it who was killed. Anyway, I thought that was very bizarre. Salute to you, Jesse and Dee Dee. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you very much, Pouncy. Adam Watts, what's up, dude? I think that guy meant they maybe did a rendering brainstorm with AI and it pulled it from that movie as an architecture for the whole thing. Totally plausible. But again, you have Charles Kirkland, right? And you have a person, high-ranking person at TPUSA who has a confirmed relationship with Gary Sinise, the co-star. So, and that's established well before any of this. So anyway, I'm just saying, like, I doubt AI had a lot to do with it, but I don't know. Who knows? All of this could just be an AI simulation that we're plugged into. By the way, just as a super quick aside on that, I'm doing a video on this in the next, 36 hours. They have a project that's coming out, and it is called whatever. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's using AI to implant memories into people. The way that they are presenting it is AI is going to implant thoughts and memories into criminals' minds, where they implant the experience of the victim in their crime into their memory. So they have to remember the experience that they caused on the other side as a perpetrator, which is super smart and very interesting in that particular application. But that would be the way that you would present a thing that is that insane if you're talking about something as terrifying as implanting memories into people's brains. If you start thinking about the implications of that, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to, I don't think anyone can even wrap their brain around what life looks like 10 years from now. Because if you can implant memories, guess what, dude? From this millisecond, you can't trust anything that you think that you've experienced. Because if they're going to have that technology in the future, then you could be experiencing it right now. Anyway, the new video showing the ledge has completely different background of the official video of the shot. In my opinion, official video isn't even the right roof, or that one's not the right roof. But yeah, I mean, again, as much as this seems like an out there theory, I try to just be as skeptical as possible. And so when I saw that video, it's always like, okay, I can't confirm that is in fact the Losi building or that ledge was there before. But if it is, then XYZ, you know what I mean? We want a part 2 with Dee Dee. Oh yeah, we'll do it for sure. Thank you both. Must repeat again. You guys rock. Yeah, we'll do another one and we'll focus on, the aftermath. And I'm sure when we go back over this, there will be a million things that we forgot to talk about. The white shirt was made to appear to be more blood than it really was. Old pro wrestling trick. Yeah. And again, I talked about this. This conflicts with the Snake Eyes thing where he shot in the same place. But if we're right and the squib and hose was supposed to go off underneath his shirt, so you have the puff out shirt and then that hose just hits the inside of his shirt, that would have looked exactly like a heart shot. It would have looked like he got shot in the heart and that's it. And no one would have questioned it. They would have just been like, he's dead. He insta dead. He would have just looked insta dead. He would have looked like he got shot straight in the heart. So I don't know if that means that that was the intention or if it was a mistake that came out the net because of the girls that said, oh yeah, he's shot in the chest. No way to know. But if you think about it, if it was supposed to go off in his shirt, and then it ended up coming out of the neck in the exact spot that the Snake Eyes Charles Kirkland did, I don't even know what to do with that, honestly. This says, I think they electrocuted him to make it look like a shot, and that's why he tensed and there was feedback from the mic. Very, very possible. And I mean, everybody's watched videos of people getting tased by cops and they go, and then they just literally their body just go like they turn into a piece of wood. It's really funny if the suspect is a complete fucking asshole, and it's really kind of messed up if the person doesn't deserve to get tased, Tyler was limping because of Lance's twig. Oh, Oh my God. That's clever, dude. Tyler was limping because of Lance's twig. I am stealing that. Events planned out decades ago. Very, very possible. Jesse, you need to seriously compare that new vid dude did of the ledge with the OG roof vid of taking the shot. Backgrounds are completely different. I believe it. And I will. I will do that. But because he's walking up to the edge in that new one, and it's taken from the level of the roof, like he's basically taking it, let's call it 6 feet above the roof on the roof versus a much more elevated position, which is from the building that's behind him. He actually points it out in the video, going down at the roof. So like, it might just be hard to identify, but I will look. I promise. Do you think God would stop Satanists from existing, or do you think God would allow Satanists to defeat themselves to prove a point? Well, clearly God didn't stop Satanists from existing because they do. And I wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't be confident predicting anything that serious about God's plan. The Snake Eyes is the story of difficult duties. You can't handle the truth. Interesting, dude. And Ronick, thank you very much. And that is the end, dude. Look at that. My wife is literally yelling at me from downstairs. I don't know why, but that is the end of this stream. You guys are the best, dude. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll do another part 2 very soon. And again, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. There's a really long stream. Thank you guys. And we'll do this soon. You can check out Manufactured Martyr, my playlist, if you guys want it's much easier to kind of itemize your thoughts when you're doing like an edited video series. And so if you want to check that out, it's in my playlist. And if you actually check out my live stream from yesterday, the one it's titled Andrew Wilson Blackmail. If you go to timestamp 1 hour, we're 1 hour into the stream, and then just watch from there. I went on some kind of like stream of consciousness about this case where I literally talked for an hour, laid out all the different problems with each piece of evidence. When I watched it back, I was like, I don't understand. I don't even know how I did that. But it's a good watch if you guys are interested. But if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate that. And like the video, go subscribe to Dee Dee's channel as well. And that is what we got. Love you guys.